troubled mind, we are only guide, and will kindly cease to be as we intertwine with their universe and its cosmic symphony. The smoke lingers after fire. The smoke lingers after fire.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to another edition of Wednesday Night Modern here at MTGCardmarket. I'm Matthew Cartier, joined here in the booth by Dan Dwan. Hoping to see some good Modern tonight.
Yeah, absolutely. We got a pretty full crowd tonight.
Yeah, we don't have the pairings for the first round yet, but it looked like we're one of the larger tournaments we've had thus far in the new year.
Yeah, for sure. Over 30 and whatnot. Always solid for a weekly tournament.
There's a lot of fun stuff in the room, too. I've been walking around, say some words that don't really make sense, but like 56 one-ofs for Gifts Ungiven is a deck that's in the room tonight.
Doesn't sound like a particularly good deck.
Who knows, man? Who knows?
Maybe they broke it. Maybe this is
Maybe they did break it. We'll find out. Maybe if we see it on camera, we'll definitely find out, and we'll probably find out that they didn't break it.
Yeah. Unsurprisingly,
Mm-hmm.
so.
Yeah, and another week this week of SCG action. So another big Standard Open, another Modern Classic. So we'll have stuff to talk about from there. The new format. The first two SCG Classics have suggested that things might actually be a little bit slower now.
Yeah, I mean, the exclusion of Gitaxian Probe and one of the core pieces of Dredge, it would make sense that the format would perhaps slow down and become more interactive.
Yeah. I mean, Tron's going to come back inevitably, though.
But the decks that were good before are still good, right? There's no reason why they wouldn't.
Yeah,
They
absolutely.
wouldn't be good anymore. So, and if we look at the top 8, we don't see anything unrecognizable, right? Like, all of these are staples of the format. The White-Red Prison deck that top 8 did the Classic this weekend, a bit of an unknown, but it's not the first time.
Dude, when you're playing
done well.
4 main deck Peace of Mind, gotta respect those choices.
We know who's on feature match.
Yeah, let me see.
Lawrence Doria has the Cheerios deck, the Pure Steel Paladin Cheerios deck.
Okay. Let's look here.
He
Who's?
said he would not mind going on
Do we
camera.
do we know her? Is this a person? Is this a person who's
Tron.
good? Do we just want to do this?
Yeah. Can we get Shane? Yeah, Shane, Lindsay.
Shane Lindsay? Okay. Keep in mind Doria if they want the Pure Steel Paladin.
Okay.
Absolutely,
We have
sure. Can we keep this?
Yeah,
here?
keep this.
Alright,
I'll
thank you.
let him know.
All right. So we are gonna get pairings. We are gonna see the 56 one-ofs for Gifts Ungiven deck. He is going to play Tron, I think.
Yeah, so he would probably be thoroughly punished for his
All right.
his attempt to have fun.
Breaking the format is much more difficult when your opponent can play Karn Liberated on turn 3.
Well, I mean, this is a deck that has main deck Crucible and main deck Ghost Quarter, so that's
But
also
only one!
of each.
Only one of each! Yeah, so we're going to throw it down to the play area. Two people sitting there who I don't think are a feature match.
Yeah, I don't believe that round 1 has actually fired yet, and people
Okay.
are still sitting around.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So there, everyone's gonna do their best impression of scattering from the feature match area. This should be interesting. I mean, I think that like Tron is like absurdly favored against normal gift decks, and I use the word normal loosely here, but
Well, the problem is that, like, Tron has an inevitability, right?
Yeah.
Like, the deck is just lands and threats. Mm-hmm. Well, it's lands, threats, and cards like find one of the other two.
sure,
So, eventually you're going to run out of just,
nonsense.
yes. And it has to, I mean, they have 8 cards that redraw, right? So, there's,
Like the thing is like Tron cantrips pretty hard actually. Like they have the 4. The four,
You have
the
4
four doodles,
stars,
the 4
spear,
stirrings, like
4 stirrings.
so you're on like 12 cards that are draw card or better. I mean sometimes ancient stirrings isn't as good, but that's like super edge casey. So yeah, so we are watching Lindsay Hardwick and Shay Straussman, both relatively frequent players at the shop. And yeah, I mean barring something catastrophic happening, I can't imagine that Shay is gonna have a good time.
Yeah, but again, like, Ghost Quarter, Crucible.
I mean, look, if Shay opens on Ghost Quarter Crucible and doesn't lose before he gets it online,
It is the turn 4 lock.
it is the turn 4 lock.
I mean, yeah.
Do you know what flavor of Tron Lindsay plays? Has she moved over to green black or is she still?
I
green
think
red?
she typically plays the green red version.
Okay. We'll put her on Tron just for now. Let's see. A lot of Tron players have moved over to the green-black Tron just because Collective Brutality is a disgustingly good card in some matchups.
I mean, I still like the green red version though, especially since you always get bolts,
Sure.
and I guess in green black Tron you now have push, which
Right.
functions in a similar manner.
The crazy thing with push is you can turn it on with your spheres and things. Like,
Yeah.
if you need to kill a creature CMC 3 or more, you can be like, crack this sphere for black, draw a card, push that.
Yeah, there are a lot of hands though that are super clunky. Where
Yeah.
you're missing colored sources and whatnot.
And we're going to put Shay's just like, this is his deck list, essentially, under his name here. Because this is what he's playing tonight. And he's, going to try to resolve gifts ungiven multiple times. And, I mean, if he's on the play with a 10, that could be... Yeah, okay. So Shay's going to probably be on the... I mean, he's going to choose the play. So, maybe he can have 3 lands in play when Karn comes down.
Wouldn't that be the dream?
Absolutely. I know that's a dream when I play Tron. It's like, please have mercy, Tron player. And Tron player's like, nah, Ulamog. Yeah. Getting turn 4 Ulamog is actually kind of a tilting experience, honestly. It's like, you had to have that, like, it's super rare because they have to have the perfect draw for it, but, like, it's really good when it happens.
Yeah, I mean, that's just a thing that can happen. It doesn't even need to be a perfect draw, right? Because you have expedition maps that you can, like, put a slot in somewhere there.
I mean, by perfect, I mean Tron on with a second tower.
Right.
On turn 4. Which is, like, super doable. Alright, so Shay's gonna look at his hand. I see a breeding pool, a gifts ungiven. Wylan122S in the chat, hey, do you guys think Brimstone Wiz is a good card to find? Brimstone Wiz. What does this card do? Is this a Brimstone Mage? Brimstone Volley? I'm not sure that Brimstone Wiz is a card. Brimstone Mage is. I can't say I'm super impressed with what it does, though. We'll put it on the right here and enter. But I actually don't know if this is a card that Wylan is talking about. So, Brimstone Mage. So, like,
it's just too expensive.
it's so slow.
Yeah, it's a little too expensive for.
It's like it's a 7 mana. It's a 7 mana pinger, right? Like, there has to be better rate for that somewhere. Looks like Shay has kept his 7, and it appears that Lindsay has mulliganed, though.
No, I mean I've seen Tron players mulligan the 3 and the hand be completely playable.
I have been on the receiving end of turn 3 Karn on a Mulder 4. Like it's really just fine sometimes. The redundancy is insane.
Mm-hmm.
It's like all these cards do one of two things: kill you or find things. So if she has lands, this is really good. But I don't think there was a single land in there.
No, and I mean this is one of the ways that Shay can win the game.
Slowly and with
He has a give some give it. So once he gets to turn 5, he will win the game.
I mean, yeah, because he'll go for Life from Loam Ghost Quarter.
Yeah.
I don't actually know if he has Crucible.
He does. The list I saw had a Crucible in the main.
Okay.
Whether or not that's still the case. Yeah. One may never know.
Yeah. I was told by Shay and the man. Yeah. Oh, by the way, she's definitely on green black. Thank you for pointing that out.
Yes, yeah, there was
we
a
did see the
collective
collective brutality.
Mm-hmm.
Dang it, Dan. So, yeah. So the thing with in speaking with Shay and the Dex designer, or like the other person who worked in like Paul Green, is that put Shay on round 1 because he won't have a winning record after that. But wow, okay.
Yeah.
At this point, I feel like Lindsay just like keeps a land.
I don't think there was one.
Right, that's what I'm saying. It's
Yeah.
like she's on such a mulligan to 4 now. Like we might get 3 games.
Still doable. Like, I mean, obviously, you're never in good shape when you're on a Muller 4. But,
You could just have tower, plant, mine, Karn though, bro. Like, come
yeah,
on.
and you do get Scry and you are on the draw. So, you have 5 cards to work with.
Yeah, I mean, really unfortunate though, because we saw that 6 and it was like Sylvan Scrying, Brutality, O-Stone, stuff, but like no lands.
Right.
And like, or map, and like just apparently no lands. And so like, now on a Mulder, like, I don't know, like mulling to, this is.
And let's not forget, like, this is one of the risks you run with Tron.
That's
like,
true. She's going to look at no lands again. Yeah, she's got Ugin, O-Stone, Karn, Scrying, no land.
I don't even know if this is a keepable 4, right? Because you need multiple things to go right here. I think your chances higher
With a 3?
with maybe.
But like you're literally on, you're not going to have a permanent in play unless you draw land.
Right, so you have 2 looks to find the land.
Yeah. So I mean, she's clearly thinking about this pretty hard, but this is
Because like if the hand was like no land, but you have like ancient stirrings or like spheres, stars,
Yeah.
then that's like then that's a hand that I would like easily keep. But this is like even if you find land, you're not doing anything, right? You need not only land, but you need a green source.
Yeah. Ugh. She's gonna scry. She's gonna risk it for the scry, and does she top the scry?
I think that's a Urza land.
All right, that's fine.
But see again, here's the problem. Like, there's still nothing you can. Oh no, that's
Oh,
Sanctum.
it's a sanctum.
So like we're miles from Tron being on.
Yeah. All you need to do is just draw 3 Tron lands in a row.
Yes, that is a route to victory.
I mean, I've seen crazy things happen, but like I mean, this is just like as soon as Shay gets Ghost Quarter Loam, like, well, because you can also go for like Ghost Quarter Loam Crucible Noxious Revival.
Mm-hmm.
I guess they can just put Revival
They can
Crucible in the yard,
Right.
But then you don't have to cast Loam, so you're faster with your Zorch, your dudes. Shay has a Sword of the Meek in hand. Guarantee also has a Thopter Foundry. Just going to play a tap Breeding Pool here. Pay 1 mana. And that, okay.
What's the Executioner's
Yep.
Capsule? So,
This card.
bit of a dead
Ooh,
draw.
alright. So, Lindsay finds a redraw.
Actually, this
Oh,
is
wow. Shay just has Thopter Sword right now, by the way.
yeah, so this is really good for Lindsay because if she draws any land, she has Sylvan Scrying.
Right? Yeah.
That the sphere is incredibly important because of that.
Yeah, so Shay's going to put a Sword of the Meek into play. He just has Thopter Foundry, so he can like close this game pretty fast. Lindsay's going to draw Ancient Stirrings. Okay, so you're going to throw that out off the green.
Yeah, and another star in hand as well.
Right? So like find a land, play another star, just like
Yeah.
keep praying, I guess. All right, so finds a power plant, bottoms the others.
Okay, so like It's not ideal, but like we're getting there.
It's slow, but we're getting there. I mean, the thing is like how fast can Shay kill you with the Thopter Foundry?
And let's
now?
not forget, Lindsay also has an O-Stone in hand.
Oh wow, yeah.
So that's one way to recover from this.
For sure. Yeah, O-Stone taking care of the Foundry means that watch out, you know. So Shay gonna read Star. I think he's debating like. I guess if he has like a destroy artifact spell in hand, he wants to see if Star is the triggered ability and Sphere is the. So like if Star gets killed by anything, you get the thing, or you get the card, but Sphere doesn't because it's part of the ability.
So it looks like Shay does not have a 4th land for the gifts in hand, but that's okay because we're just gonna turn Thopter Sword.
Crack, draw, another Sphere.
Okay, but we've got a Sylvan Scrying though, so we can do everything here.
Yeah, no. So scrying now.
Yeah, Scrying, find another land, and then use that to play the Sphere.
Right. So we're close, but
Yeah, and I mean
this is the Lindsay could very well win this game from here.
yeah,
Like,
because
it's not out of the question.
because she's gonna play this power plant now, and then play the Star. And next turn she cracks Star. She's got 2 draws to find the tower.
And if she does find the tower, like she just plays Ugin -2, and just like I'm unclear what Shay is doing for the rest of this game. Shay is going to loop. So this is Sword of the Meek. So this is a combo with Thopter Foundry. For those of you who don't know, so basically Thopter Foundry says sacrifice an artifact. You get a 1/1 Thopter and you gain 1 life. So you sacrifice Sword of the Meek, the 1/1 Thopter comes into play, triggers Sword of the Meek returning from the graveyard. So you can make as many Thopters as you have mana essentially. Yeah. Shay does find his 4th land here, though. Going to be a Hallowed Fountain.
It takes 2 from that.
Yep. Going to go to 17. And decides to slam attack with a Thopter.
Lindsay will take 2.
Yep. Down to 18. So, like, next turn, theoretically, unless Shay... I mean, Shay can also cast gifts here for his stuff.
Right.
But,
If Lindsay,
wow, but she drew the tower. Oh.
So that's 8, right? That's,
No, it's 8. So, like, she goes Tower Ugin minus.
Yes.
And, like, Shay just has to pray. Or, wait, can she play and crack O-Stone?
She can also do that.
Yup. She's debating Ugin or O-Stone here. Wow, what a... I mean, Tron. Alright, so Ugin is going to hit the table. She's going to do the cast trigger on Sanctum of Ugin to get something. I'm curious, what do you think you get in this situation? Oh, she gets a World Breaker.
Yeah,
okay.
World
Breaker, pretty good.
Yeah, World Breaker also has the nice caveat of also being able to hit any of these artifacts. But I think Lindsay has to go -2 here.
No, you absolutely -2. You kill the capsule, you kill the Foundry. You, like, the capsule is the only way that Shay has right now to kill your World Breaker.
You also get all of the Thopters.
Right, absolutely.
Because I believe they're black Thopters?
They're blue.
They're blue? Okay.
Shay's going to respond to the Ugin, to the minus, I believe. Yes, because Lindsay's, Greg Pino, this was a Molda 4. This was a Molda 4 with no land in the hand.
Correct.
This is like a turn 5 Ugin.
We need to see what Lindsay minused on.
She -2'd.
Did she minus it? Okay,
Yep.
Which would be correct.
The Thopters are bye-bye.
Yeah.
Shay is realizing this now.
But he does gain the life. He does gain 4 life.
Oh, good for Shay. He's at 21. Executioner's Capsule also should be in exile.
Yeah.
Shay shuffled in the Thopter Foundry with the tokens. That capsule needs to be
We'll also
goodbye.
go make sure that the capsule.
Yeah, go fast. Nope, they didn't do it. Get him.
Okay.
Blitz. All right, so Dan is out here. Oh, she pointed at it. We're good. Oh, okay. Well, Dan left the room in vain. Shay now with an Elish Norn in hand. Oh my god. Here we go. All right, he's going to tap 4 mana. He's going to cast Gifts Ungiven. Now, if y'all are following along with the overlay, Shay has 56 one-ofs, so Gifts Ungiven, do not worry.
But Shay has to be really displeased about his line of play because he
could have cast gifts instead of making the Thopters.
instead of gaining 4 life, he could have cast gifts ungiven, and I don't know exactly what you want. You might want.
It might be too late.
Yeah, it might be too late. You might also want a needle. There's probably a needle in the main, right? Or,
So I think if you're Shay, you get needle, ghost quarter stuff.
Yeah.
So he's got. That's a tech edge, but I don't see the ghost quarter. Either way, if you're Lindsay, you're still gonna. I don't think that Shay has the ability to turn off Tron this turn. He has a land drop. But you just put Ghost Quarter in the graveyard.
Right.
So there's the Loam. So, but the thing is also, Shay has to beat the Ugin. So you just put, theoretically, you put, if his pile is Loam, Ghost Quarter, Tech Edge, Needle, you put Ghost Quarter, Needle in the yard. Let him keep whatever other stuff he wants. He might be getting Maelstrom Pulse, too.
Yeah, but I don't think
That's
any of
fine.
that matters, right? Because you can just start World Breakering him.
Right. No, yeah, you can take him off black. Kaz Fiend, list for the gifts deck.
It's
It's
a very long list.
Yeah. Let me actually. I think Shay Facebook messaged it to me. I will go into an incognito window here. What did he, so?
Okay, so it's Tech Edge, Flooded Strand, Loam, and Ghost Quarter.
Yeah. So just yard the Ghost Quarter Tech Edge, right?
Yeah, I think so. Because, okay, Lindsay gave him the
Tech
Tech
Edge
Edge,
Flooded Strand.
but it doesn't matter because
he can't activate
He can't
it.
activate it. And this is going to be a bit of a problem, right? Because Shay doesn't have an answer to this Ugin, and he's about to get World Breakered or
Right.
Karned.
Or Karned.
Karn exile your Tech Edge is not terrible.
Seems okay.
Or
World Breaker Tech Edge.
Yeah, I actually like World Breaker.
There we go.
XL.
Yeah. So I think this is World Breaker, or it's just draw a card, but it is Lindsay's only green source, so I think she's sort of incentivized to play the World Breaker here.
Yeah, I would, because this is your one window to play this World Breaker. The World Breaker exiling the Tech Edge seems just fine.
The next turn, Shay can dredge Loam, get Ghost Quarter back.
Sure, but how do you beat the Ugin on field and the World Breaker?
It's unclear.
It's very but the first thing is she has to take Lindsay off of Tron, right?
Yeah.
Else is just it's Karns for days. Mm-hmm. Lindsay's holding 2 cards in hand. So regardless of what Shay does, if Lindsay gets lucky,
Yeah.
it gets back whatever gets Ghost Corded. Okay, so Shay chose the dredge there. Reveals Marsh Flats, Maelstrom Pulse, and Sun Titan.
Maelstrom Pulse would have been pretty good.
Maelstrom Pulse would have been a fine draw. There's also a Snapcaster in hand, I believe. So snap Maelstrom Pulse is a play, but if you snap Maelstrom Pulse, you can't Ghost Quarter. But Shay's already played the Flooded Strand, so we're not getting Ghost Quartered here.
Yeah. Maybe he has a different play?
Shay also, there's a Path to Exile on the bottom of his deck.
Well, okay. On the bottom of his deck is somewhat less exciting.
I think Shay's play here is Snapcaster and Pulse.
Oh, gotcha. Okay, so unfortunately, chat, I can't find the gifts list in scrolling through my Facebook history with Shay, but I know I saw it somewhere. So we'll see. But this is snap pulse, target your dude, deuces.
Kind of have to do that. Karn's getting, Ugin's getting pretty close to ulting, and once that happens, we're really done here.
Yeah, but this is just okay, so Ulamog can't be cast right now, but this is just attack with World Breaker for 5 Karn your stuff.
Yeah, it's actually kind of interesting what you want to Karn.
What do you think?
Because
See, the thing here is if Lindsay, if she had another 2 mana like another Urzaland, she could just take Shay off of green.
Yeah.
But she can't.
So based on everything I've seen so far, I'm inclined to think that Shay doesn't have red in his deck.
He doesn't. He's on everything except red.
So if I go down, I feel pretty safe.
Yeah, no, you definitely feel safe. Lindsay not attacking with the World Breaker, just leaving it back. Shay gonna draw here. So Shay does have just Loam. Oh, he drew another gifts. But he does just have Loam for Ghost Quarter, right?
He does have Loam for Ghost Quarter. But if he did that, that would be pretty much his entire turn.
but like,
You kind of have to do it.
yup. Pretty much.
But yeah, it's really interesting. Like again, like these gift stacks, like you have a lot of options. It's unclear what what the easy choice is. But yeah, this is going to ensure that the card up is going to be kind of mediocre going forward.
Yeah.
Just because you're always going to have a ton of land in hand. But Shay, importantly, does get the Ghost Quarter and does play it. For Ghost Quarter, we've got to kind of do it now or an upkeep.
Yeah, I think he's just gonna do it now. He says kill your tower. It's always a tower.
Yeah, I mean, it's always just the best one to target, right?
Of course.
Versus 3.
I mean, look, like you're not wrong. I just think it's funny. Just like it's always tower.
Yeah, and Lindsay can... Because this is a deck full of one-ofs, the number of green sources in the deck is also pretty limited. We've already got rid of a Temple Guard.
Did she not find a forest?
Interesting. Looks like Lindsay failed to find.
Does she have no basics?
It
Are
must
her
be
basics in her yard? Are they in her hand?
They must... No, they're not in her hand, right? Because she didn't play one last time?
So... Well, she draws Sylvan Scrying, so Tron's back on.
But the problem is, Sylvan Scrying only gets you up to 5 mana.
Yeah. Oh, she's just gonna minus the card to get Shay's other green. Which is fine. Like, you have a World Breaker, you're not afraid of anything, right? She'll take a pain, go to 17.
Well, this is also important because currently, Life from the Loam is not castable.
Yeah, no, that's the thing, right? Like, Shay can't just Ghost Quarter every turn.
Well, I mean, Lindsay knows that Shay has a handful of fetches, right?
Yeah.
So, does he have another fetch?
Right, yeah.
A fetchable target, excuse me.
There's a lot of random stuff in this deck.
I'm going to assume that there's probably
Okay, so every
an
land that...
overgrown?
Yeah, there definitely is an overground. This is an attack for 5. Every land that Shay has played, he doesn't have another one of.
Right, so we're down a Temple Garden and we're down a Breeding Pool.
Yeah.
It doesn't seem likely that there's going to be a Stomping Ground in this deck. So
Yeah,
we're
pretty
really
much.
looking for... oh, there's a basic force, so...
Okay.
All is good in the world. But, if we play a land to try to cast Loam, we can't play Ghost Quarter this turn.
Yeah, oh, and Shay is going to be at 15 because he took the hit.
Yeah. Which means that Lindsay has another Karn.
Yeah, which means she can just Karn.
She'll Karn the last green source.
Yeah, it's not great for
Well,
Shay.
not necessarily the last green source, right? Because there is a forest. Mm-hmm. But if Lindsay draws a land, she's on Ulamog territory. And that
it's pretty good.
that's gonna be rough to beat.
Ulamog is pretty strong in terms of like not losing to stuff.
Okay,
So-
so let's see. What does Lindsay need to draw? She's currently on 8 mana. She needs to get to 10, right?
She can draw any Urza land.
Any Urza land is good. Sylvan Scrying is also good.
Yeah.
And Ancient Stirrings is kind of a free roll because if we miss, we can always just play another card.
Yeah. So this is okay. So yeah, we're gonna. Well, he is. So he's gonna. Yeah, he's gonna loam. He'll get the Ghost Quarter, but then Lindsay by this time will have another Karn, right?
Yeah. At the minimum, we'll have another card. Also, Shay in his hand has Engineered Explosives, which is not the most impressive of cards.
The fact that this game isn't over in either direction is super impressive to me.
Yeah. If Shay doesn't have anything else to do, I would equip the Snapcaster and...
Attack. He says discard EE pass.
Okay.
Untap for Lindsay.
Okay, so that's a star. A sphere.
Yeah, just like play Karn.
Yeah, I guess we just play the card.
I mean, you know you're gonna get Ghost Quartered, right? Like, but she says eat your Overgrown Tomb. Also, the only Overgrown Tomb that Shay has, she'll block with the Snapcaster here, and Lindsay will put the Sphere into play and pass. So Shay has a Ghost Quarter, but now he has to beat the Karn, right?
Yeah, if Shay spends his entire turn ghost quartering, I mean, he what is he doing
Is
on
that an
3?
Academy Ruins? It is an Academy Ruins. Man, this list is just surprises on surprises.
Yeah, so I mean, the Academy Ruins could get back to Crucible, but
I don't see the Crucible, though.
yeah, there is no Crucible.
Okay.
Also, it doesn't matter if you take your opponent off a Tron. You can't beat the board.
Yeah, like, Shay needs to draw a path into... Well, he's already... See, here's the thing, right? This is the problem with this deck. Is that, like... Oh, he has a basic forest. Okay.
Right, we saw him get
But
that
wait,
back
why
with
wouldn't you
Love.
just play Ghost Quarter this turn?
Because it doesn't matter anymore, right? If you play
sure.
Ghost Quarter, you're going to just be so far behind that...
Yeah.
How do we win? One thing that I don't
Oh,
like...
he has gifts up again.
Yeah, one thing I don't like that Shay did was he could have equipped the Snapcaster and just killed Karn now.
Oh,
But instead he blocked.
you're right. Oh,
Right,
true.
because remember last
Yeah.
turn Shay left up 2 mana, didn't do anything with it. Could use that mana to equip the Snapcaster and make it a 3/3.
Yep.
And then we don't block, we kill the Karn.
Or you force your opponent to not attack.
Or yeah, so Lindsay actually got an interesting decision here. Does she want to cash in the Karn, or does she want to exile a land from Shay's hand?
I think she just picks exile land from your hand just to get the Karn up a little bit.
Oh, never mind, because Lindsay has Ancient Stirrings. If she can Ancient Stirrings into exactly Tower,
And she only has 2 of those left.
that's a Worm Coil.
That it is. She's going to look at the top 5.
Alright, we still, so there's one colorless floating and one presumably green floating.
Yep. Yep.
Looks like Lindsay has a mine.
Okay, so that's close but not good enough.
Yeah, not good enough. That'll put us at 9.
She just gets the redraw.
Alright, should get the redraw. Okay.
I'm just going to put that into play with the
Alright,
mana floating.
Still 1 mana floating.
Play Worm Coil.
Yeah.
This is just like you're dead on board. Go. Shay is going to gifts.
Alright, this
I'm
is...
not sure what he can do here.
Yeah, because the Thopter
So
was...
Wrath of God, Torrential Gear Hulk.
Please, have the Torrential Gear Hulk that is completely uncastable.
Coiling Oracles in this deck. Collective Brutalities in this deck. Blessed Alliance is in this deck. What are you doing?
Oh, Cryptic Command.
I don't care about Cryptic Command if I'm Lindsay, though.
No, because, like,
Oh. Yeah.
Oh, and for the people who have followed us tonight, thank you very much.
Yeah.
Cormy333, thank you for the follow.
Also, Kaz Fiend, thank you very much for following the stream.
This is this is interesting.
Oh, there's Emrakul the Promised End in this deck.
Okay,
It's not castable still.
We're a little bit far from that. Had
One.
Lindsay not stripped Mind Shade 3 times, we might be close. Actually, it's worse than stripped Mind, right? Because stripped Mind, you can at least recover with loam.
No, dude, it's exile. All right, Bring to Light, Torrential Gear Hulk, Eternal Witness, Cryptic Command. What's going on?
Okay, so
If you're Lindsay, what do you do?
well, the cards that matter, right? Cryptic Command prevents lethal, so I don't want to give him that.
Right.
Uh,
I'm not a like.
I don't think I care about Torrential either, because you can't cast it next turn, right?
No, yeah. Give him Torrential Gear Hulk.
Give him Torrential Gear Hulk, give him Eternal Witness.
Right, like what is he buying back?
Yeah, just because those are the slowest cards, right?
Yeah, so she gives him Bring to Light, Gear Hulk. So I'm not a huge fan of the Bring to Light just because I think Shay is gonna go Bring to Light for 4 for Wrath of God, and wipe the board. Buy him a little bit of time, but we'll see.
Right, but let's
Draw step from Shay's Polluted Delta.
Okay, but let's not forget that Wrath of God still leaves 6 power on board.
Yeah. Academy Ruins here from Shay. Right, yeah. Worm Coil doesn't care about your Wrath of God.
But see, the problem is okay, if you get Bring to Light and get Wrath of God, right?
Right.
And I think he can do that. Yeah, he's got 4 colors. Green, white, black, blue. But we're getting very close to where that's not castable.
Yeah, I mean, the Karn is going to Strip Mine again next turn. Also, thank you to Kuka Baludu and Philosophy Turtle for the follows.
Yeah.
Oh no, Shay's just going to cast Unburial Rites. Unburial Rites for Sun Titan, probably.
Yep.
Okay. What do you get back with Sun Titan? You get back... Trigger. Getting back Eternal Witness.
Okay.
Okay.
This game looks more like a game now.
Get back Cryptic Command.
Okay.
So the problem here is that Lindsay goes minus Karn on your Sun Titan, swing at you, you have to block with your Ewit, right?
Yes.
If she has like, wait, does she have another Karn? She does. Okay, so she just goes
Karn
minus, play a second Karn minus, kill you.
Yes.
Okay, so it was close. There
Yeah.
was an attempt.
Or if Lindsay draws a land,
She can Ulamog.
She just Ulamog both of them. So let's see, what do we get there? That doesn't look like a land.
It's a map.
It's a map.
Karn minus, yeah. Okay, Shay sees the writing on the wall. Lindsay has a second Karn. We're going to go to game 2 here.
Yeah,
That was a mulligan to 4 with no lands in hand from Lindsay Hardwick, and she pulls it out against Gifts Ungiven.
right. Yeah, if Lindsay, I think Lindsay verbally confirmed that she had the second Karn in hand.
Yeah,
right?
and Shay was just like, oh, wait, I just lose to this. Alright, so we're going to reset this. And while we're doing this, thank you to Wild BTK for the follow. So basically, that was like Tron mulls, no lands in hand, has a land on top, and Shay was just still too slow.
Yeah, so not only was it a Mulder 4, it was a no-lander Mulder 4
Yeah.
that got there. KMTG, the black in this Tron list is mostly for collective brutality, but you also now have Fatal Push and cards like that.
Yeah, both very powerful removal options. Collective Brutality is really good because it's good against Tron's like historically bad matchups like Burn and Infect. Especially against something like Burn where the life matters. You go kill your dude, strip your hand, gain some life. I played Grixis Delver at a 1K this weekend and was able to make the exact same play against Burn, and it was like, wow, I turned my like trash extra lands into
relevance,
into just like mini spells basically.
Sure.
Yeah.
But yeah, that was really interesting. I think the big turning point in
Yeah.
that game was
The Thopters.
yeah, Shay forgetting that the Thopters were colored.
Right. Yeah. So for those of you who are just joining us, because we have jumped significantly in viewership. Basically, first thing is that Shay Straussman is playing 56 one-ofs and 4 Gifts Ungiven. The one-ofs include the lands. The second thing is that Shay had Thopter Foundry, Sword of the Meek assembled, and in response to an Ugin -2, made 4 Thopters instead of holding up gifts. The Thopters that Thopter Foundry makes aren't actually colorless like most Thopters in Magic, because they're from Esper and all that stuff. So Shay sort of got blown out and he lost all the Thopters. He did gain some life though, which was kind of nice.
Right. So yeah, but had Shay cast the gifts, he could have established like the Ghost Quarter lock the turn prior.
Yeah, so it was close, but
Right.
ultimately, and the other crazy part of that match, of course, was Lindsay on mulligan to 4, scry Sanctum of Ugin to the top, had Tron on like turn 5, and then just wins the game. Right. So Tron doing Tron things.
So yeah, obviously need to run, need to get a little bit lucky there, right? Because doesn't have the green source for the Sylvan Scrying in hand.
Right.
Kept a hand of like, what was it, like Ulamog,
It's like it's Sylvan
Ostone,
Scrying,
Karn, something like that.
Ostone, Karn, something. Yeah,
Yeah.
but like it worked out. Because the crazy turn was the one where it's like, oh, she drew the tower and then she just played Ugin, which was like kind of insane.
Right.
Yeah.
But even so, this just kind of shows the power of what Tron can do, and it really does punish you for durdling around, right? Like, Shay did have some opportunities. I'm not. I'm trying to picture like if we could have gotten better gifts piles, but it's really difficult because like
Gifts Ungiven is a really, really hard card.
especially with a singleton. Oh, it is worth pointing out that the sideboard is also singleton.
Yes. Yeah, so Shay has 56 one-offs, 4 Gifts Ungiven, and also 15 sideboard cards that are also not in the main deck, and there are no repeated cards in the board.
So all in all, we can gifts for pretty much anything, but
I mean, it's probably not that good.
yeah.
I think, so like, the crazy thing about that game, though, is think about how garbage that game is for Shay at the start if he doesn't have Thopter and Sword in the first, like, 3 turns.
Well,
like, his opener was Foundry, and he drew Sword, draw step 1. Right? Like,
So, I mean, if Shay hadn't, put together just the singleton Thopter Sword, if he didn't manage to play that, he would have just made no plays until turn 4.
Yeah, I mean, that seems like something that
Which-
this deck is like perfectly gonna do.
Which
a
with the
lot.
hand that Lindsay had probably was good enough.
Actually, it's kind of funny. If he never has Thopter Sword, he never tries to activate in response to Ugin minus, and then he probably just wins the game because he sets up the lock.
No, because it looks like Lindsay is playing 0 basics. So if on turn 4 you gives for the Ghost Quarter package, you just win. Because all of a sudden you have Strip Mine every turn and Tron is never on.
Yeah.
So, I mean, yeah, you know,
Big yikes. All right. As interesting as that game was, I like to see players on 7 more than I do on 4. So let's hope that both players have some more reasonable keeps.
all right, well, I mean,
Lindsay looks
definitely-
like she has a pretty reasonable keep.
I see 3 lands. I don't think there's a color source, but
It's Tower, Mine, Sanctum, Star Stirrings.
yeah.
So, and Shay is going to have to mulligan this time.
Yeah, looks like a perfectly fine hand from Lindsay's perspective.
So for Zass in the chat, what is the Gift Ghost Quarter package? So the Gift Ghost Quarter package is you cast Gifts Ungiven for Life from the Loam.
Yeah. Crucially, you get life from the loam, right?
Yeah, Life from the Loam is important, and then you get Ghost Quarter.
Yeah. Life from the loam is like kind of the key part of
Yeah,
that
because
package.
it doesn't matter where they put it.
Right. Yeah. Whether life from the loam goes to your hand or the graveyard is fine. You have access
Yeah.
to the ghost quarter.
So yeah, so Shay got, and so like yeah, with the package you get Loam, Ghost Quarter, Tech Edge, 1 card.
Yeah. And
Generally, I mean, sometimes it's like you might just be like get gifts number 2. You can really, that 4th spot is sort of up in the air, right? Like what
sure.
do you? I mean,
And you don't necessarily even need to get the tech edge, right?
yeah, that's true. Like you could also get like Academy Ruins.
You could get Academy Ruins Crucible.
That's an insane package, by the way.
Yeah.
Because then like
I mean, it's not too bad though, right? Because you have to put the Crucible in the graveyard, and then
Yeah.
like maybe put the Ghost Quarter in graveyard as well, and that can slow him down a little bit.
Shay basic Swamp and pass. Not gonna. It looks like he might have had a play, but decided not to. Lindsay draws a star, so I mean, I imagine Tower Star here. So she's got 2 redraws in hand. Shay will draw. He draws Collective Brutality. Pretty good against the Ancient Stirrings, and he has a Tech Edge in play.
So this is all very good.
Tech Edge, though, much notably, is pretty bad against Tron on 3 lands. He'll Collective Brutality here, and I believe he's just going to target Lindsay.
Yeah, no reason to escalate.
Lindsay says, I have a Crucible. Haha, ooh, wow, okay. Lindsay with the plays. So, you can take my Ancient Stirrings, or you can take my Brutality. What do you think? I mean, if you're Shay here,
I think this is Ancient Stirrings and not particularly close.
I agree. Ancient Stirrings not close is how I see it as well.
This Crucible is kind of funny too. Shay would have been much more in. Shay could have had a lot more play last game if all of the cards weren't just exiled. Right?
Yep.
Like he had an Academy to get back the Foundry, but no, it was Ugin exiled.
So, Lindsay here, I don't know what she cracked for, but if I were her, I might even crack for black.
Yeah,
She
probably
cast Brutality, right?
Right, because she doesn't have a green spell anymore.
Yeah, so she targets Shay. Gift's not close here, right?
Yeah, so that's a Noxious Revival, which is not great. A Renegade Rallier, and what is this black card here? I don't recognize the art.
Oh, that's a Seal of Doom.
Can we pull it up?
It's just it's old art. It's the black enchantment one.
Okay, so this
and,
is
and
Gift
she
not
takes
close.
she takes
This is-
Shay. Also, no additional lands. Notably, the Renegade Rallier isn't castable for 2 turns.
Yeah, because like Collective Brutality isn't duress. It's instant or sorcery. So your choices are Noxious Revival or Gifts Ungiven. This is not close at all.
I mean, well, it's sort of like Shay's just he can Noxious the gifts back, right?
Yeah.
So like
Draws an Abrupt Decay. So
draws an Abrupt Decay. It's closer to castable than the Rallier, but this is sort of what Lindsay's deck preys on, right? Like here we go.
The slow clunky draws. Yeah, so she can just cycle this
Star
for free. Or she can just play both stars, but yeah, no reason to do that.
Draws Worm Coil. She has a Sanctum of Ugin, but I'm not sure she wants to play that right now because that will turn on the. I mean, I guess she has a Crucible. It doesn't matter, right?
Yeah.
Crack this star off that next land. Draw, play Sphere. Storm count 3, pass. Shay draws a Negate. Swamp Tectonic Edge generally doesn't cast Negate where I'm from.
Yeah. Shay
Lindsay draws another mine, by the way.
Shay desperately wants
A fetch
a
land?
fetch land so he can Noxious Revival it and then Renegade Rally it back.
True. So Lindsay's going to draw. She draws an Ugin. I think she's thinking about... Oh, yeah, so she's got the 1 mana floating. She'll just put the Crucible into play. And now, like, Shay's Tech Edge is for naught. Shay draws a Sun Titan and passes. Oh, guys, we are seeing the other side of this Gifts deck. On upkeep, Shay's going to kill a tower.
All right, so
I'm not sure that's even good. Like, I actually don't like that at all.
No,
I really don't.
'cause
Oh no! Play that from my graveyard. I have a Relic of Progenitus.
it looks like Shay forgot about the Crucible.
Oh, he definitely did forget, my friend. Oh no! And the Relic's in play, so now Shay can't Noxious Revival. Okay, Lindsay says, "Get this stuff out of here." If you're Shay, is it worth? Like, what do you do? Do you let this go?
Shay almost has to get this Tech Edge back, right?
It's
Or is
too
he
late. She relics and it's gone.
All right, is it gone? It's gone.
Yeah,
All right.
Lindsay says good night to Shay's hopes. Shay reveals Emrakul the Promised End.
The least castable card in existence.
This is so bad. Shay, pick that up. Okay. So the thing is like Lindsay doesn't have a green source still. Is gonna hard cast a Worm Coil before she turns on Tron.
Yeah.
DRK CLD, I think Shay just didn't notice the
Shay-
Crucible coming behind his deck. He has a Ghost Quarter, secretly the best land against Tron except when they have a Crucible in play. Lindsay's just going to take a draw step. She's literally just going to cast Worm Coil and hit him 4 times.
Oh yeah, that's a Blooming Marsh.
So that's tapped. So another turn, but she does have 6 lands in play.
Yeah.
Hey, this is what happens when you can't pressure the Tron deck. Shay draws a land. All right,
All right.
game on, everybody. He still can't cast anything.
Okay.
He has negate. He has negate.
No, so what Shay can do is fetch with the Flooded Strand, tap Swamp, Ghost Quarter it, get like a
Rallier him. He just
a
passes.
white source
this.
and rally
He's
it.
passing the turn. He's hoping Lindsay's on the no creature. Oh my god.
This is so much
That's
mana. This is so much mana.
That's 10, 14 mana, 14 mana.
Yeah.
So Ugin Worm Coil is like a real thing that just happens this turn. Shay will negate, obviously.
Let's not forget, whatever you cast also triggers Sanctum. So, like, the beats are not going to stop once we start here.
The crazy thing is, too, is a Shay, like, you can't even Ghost Quarter anything in response, so it's only the one spell that's happening to you, right?
Yeah.
Because she'll just play it with the Crucible.
No, because she'll play it next turn.
Oh, right, she put the power plant into play, you're right, okay.
So this is really interesting. Like, what does she want to try to resolve?
I don't think it matters anymore.
But whatever she tries to play, she should definitely tap the Sanctum for it. We're going to start with a Karn. And
It'll get
Shay's going to
negated.
snap off.
The hardest negate ever to be snapped off in his life.
Yeah.
Oh, he's gonna go to 17, not 13. It's not 7 life lost.
Like, if we pull up Sanctum of Ugin here.
Yes, absolutely. So Lindsay does trigger the Sanctum here. I think she probably wanted to float a mana, but I'm not sure if she... So the Karn will bite it, and Lindsay... Oh, did she... I'm not sure if she floated that. She's gonna go looking. I think she just find Worldbreaker, right? Duh.
Yeah, Worldbreaker seems...
Oh, wait.
okay.
No, Ulamog. Oh, wait, Worldbreaker's also fine.
Yeah.
I guess, like, Ulamog is, like, greedier? I don't know.
Uh...
You have infinity mana.
All of this aside, the yeah, we're gonna see if Lindsay remembered to float the mana. It looks like she did.
Yeah.
And then we're gonna just have
Vem Coil Engine.
okay.
The old school Tron threat before they printed all these, you crazy kids with your old Drazzies. Ugh. I mean, Shay can Seal of Doom this. It doesn't change the clock at all. He's gonna draw an Elishnorn. Things that Swamp Breeding Pool, Ghost Quarter don't cast.
I mean, so worst case is
He's gonna play the Seal of Doom and just trust.
all right, save himself some life. The problem now is that like now Lindsay Worldbreakers him,
Yep.
and
He's never casting another spell this game. I'm just in here. I'm just in the booth, just like looking away in fear because this is. Oof. Okay, in for 6.
Yeah.
Seal of Doom you. Fine.
So it's kind of interesting, right? Like Lindsay could have gone to Ulamog last turn, but because she has Ghost Quarter protection too, so
Yeah.
Shay would need to like destroy the Crucible and then Ghost Quarter Lindsay off of Tron.
Yeah. Oh, she's just gonna play the Sanctum from her graveyard. Oh, that's pretty good. Oh no.
Trigger.
Oh, infinity triggers. She's like, this Ghost Quarter, like, get that out of here.
This is hilarious.
This is amazing. Shay is just like, oh, right.
So Shay will win this game once Lindsay is literally out of threats in her deck.
Oh yeah, no, she tutored the Ulamog, dude. Like, this game is over. I mean, Shay not scooping to this, I think, is maybe a little bit, like, maybe he just wants to play it out. Maybe she'll forget that she has an attack phase. I don't know. Shay takes a draw. Sylvan Caryatid.
Actually, not a terrible draw, all things considered.
Yep. Makes,
It can't get Ulamoged. This means you are.
that means you're gonna have a Caryatid and no permanence next turn.
This means that you will not get flawless victoried.
Yeah, that's true. Oh man, unless you have to block with it, right? Shay's like, never forget. All right, so he's gonna go to 6.
Lindsay's gonna gain 3.
Uh-huh. Get that young worm.
Then we're gonna just Ulamog your lands.
There it is.
Oh, she forgot to play the Sanctum.
Oh no,
Oh, no.
value lost.
Oh, no.
I'm sure it matters. Shay frantic with the Sylvan Caryatid. Gonna draw a Sword of the Meek. Davian Salkovich, there is no conceivable way he wins this game. That's gonna do it. Lindsay Hardwick on Green-Black Tron. We didn't update this game score after the first game, but she is gonna win it 2-0.
Interesting deck. Interesting. We perhaps saw the flaws in the Highlander
56
philosophy.
Yeah. Highlander not as good in Modern. Yeah, and I think that probably Shay is not gonna make it back to the feature table tonight. And by I think I mean it's probably it's just like not gonna happen.
But on that note, if people in chat, we're coming close to round 2 here. If there's anything in particular you guys would like to see, please let us know. We've got like almost 40 people in the field today. Actually, we do have 40 people, so it should be a good variety of decks. Most of them not playing Highlander. Yeah. So if you guys want to see anything, please let us know.
Yeah, yeah, let's see. I just like
We're gonna meander into the field real quick. Just
see if there's anything. Yeah. Ooh. Ooh, Davian Salkovich. We do have a Jeskai control player in the room. He actually recently top 2'd. He made the finals of a 1K. Zast, there is Cheerios tonight. 6 Cyan. We do have Esper control. In control, I don't know about Abzan Coco, but we can find out. Same to you, Austin B. But I know there's Cheerios, I know there's Jeskai, and I know there's Esper. Just depends, on how those players do. But there is, in the Esper list is, I think, it's a Hovis Drago, so like 4 Esper Charms, 4 Cryptic Commands, 2 Sphinx's Rev, some Secure the Wastes to like kill your opponent or something. I don't know. It's really slow though. I play it, my buddy's running it, and it's like, oh man. Like, let's get to turn like 12 and just cast Sphinx's Rev for 9, I guess. Alright, so yeah, these 2 players are going to move away from the table. So the Gifts Ungiven deck, unconventional, to say the least. Like, there isn't, the 4-color Gifts deck, I think, is like a real deck in Modern. Like, where you play like a more like non-Highlander style. Yeah, I mean, I'm not sure that Shay is going to win a match tonight. I think that he's certainly going to try his very best. He's just poked his head into the back, and given me this very self-satisfied smirk. I mean, I hope you're happy, dude. Like that Mulda 4. Whew. All right, so yeah, we'll see about the next round. I'm gonna do in the meantime. All right, so this round is wrapping up. We're gonna throw it. We're gonna throw it back up to the booth here. Maybe do a little talking about some of the results from this weekend's SCG. Just while the next round should be firing in minutes.
I think there's 2 matches finishing up.
Okay,
Yeah.
that's good. So we've got a lot of requests from different people in the chat. So we had a request for Jeskai Control, exists. Cheerios exists. I don't know about Abs and Company. Esper Control exists.
There's a couple people on Absen.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah, I don't know if there's anyone on the company version, but
Oh.
there's definitely there's always plenty of Grixes and Jeskai Control.
There's a lot of people on the server just like playing Snapcaster decks.
Fear not, we will definitely get this.
Yeah, so let's hop over to Star City. We can talk about the Modern Classic a little bit. Definitely, like we said at the start of the broadcast, but we've picked up so many people since then. Things might actually be slowing down in Modern. Who knows? Like, it doesn't appear to be out of the question.
Yeah, I think what's interesting is, Grizzle Show took this weekend down, and
Right.
last weekend there was Ad Nauseam ended up doing very well.
The spell-based combo decks sort of coming back.
So, there's no guarantee that the format becomes any more interactive,
Sure.
but there's certainly, a little bit different. We did see the Dredge top 16 last week. I don't believe it did again this week.
Okay.
But good variety of exactly what you would expect.
Yeah.
I'm actually the most surprised that the white-red Prism deck is.
Yeah, let's talk about that a little bit.
Like,
All right. So we're going to put the link for this deck in the chat so y'all can look at what we're looking at. And bam. Okay, yeah. The great thing is we can put links in the chat. So this deck, I read this list, and I said to myself, after, mousing over the Peace of Mind, the 4 of, I was like, surely, like, SCG sometimes makes typos, right?
Right.
It's just like they're putting in the cards really fast. They have a lot of deck lists to get through. They're working really, they're trying to just, like, get through them as fast as they can. Maybe they put it in wrong. But this appears to be a real thing. So, anyways, Peace of Mind, enchantment, 1 white, hey, here, we're going to put it up on the side here.
It's a way of, I guess it serves double duty, right?
It means you don't die. It also means it turns your bridge on. This deck is playing, so like, this deck somewhat exists, but it doesn't play Ensnaring Bridge. It plays like Nahiri, Emrakul, Blood Moon Chalice, obviously, but like no Ensnaring Bridges. This build, the Ensnaring Bridge, I'm talking about like the Sun and Moon. Or
the Sun and Moon version, yeah.
So this build can't cast your spells because of Blood Moon or Chalice. And you can't attack either because of Bridge.
Mm-hmm.
Like, truly, this deck, like, there's never more Rest in Peace, Stony, Leyline in the board. Like,
this is a true prison deck.
This is the most hateful deck I've ever seen in Modern.
Right.
Like, there's just like, let's take all the really good hate and just, whoop, one package.
So, and it's interesting too. Like, they're not even running an Emrakul to try to get when they hear it. No, like, if you all Nahiri, you're getting a Simian Spirit Guide or a Wall of Omens, right?
Yeah,
so
like,
this,
I'm not. I mean, you know what's great though is you get the Simian Spirit Guide, and then it goes back to your hand and you can use it as a Lotus Petal.
There you go.
I mean, but like, I think in actuality, like, this deck is winning by Chandra plussing your opponent out of the game.
Yeah. If you Pithing Needle, Chandra, Torture, Defiance, I don't know if this has a win con anymore.
They can go ++- on a Johnny.
Sure. And it's just like Lightning Helix, you're out of the game.
Lightning Helix every 3 turns with a Johnny is their other win con.
Yeah, I mean,
think about that. Oh god.
technically correct.
Yeah. Also Nahiri.
Yeah,
Not there to ult.
Right. Nahir is always just. I mean, because he's only running a singleton, there's no reason to run any good targets.
Right. Yeah. I mean, this deck is just like the hate.
Yeah.
I don't know. It plays at such a non-conventional angle, right? Like, turn 2, play a Peace of Mind. Turn 3, play a Bridge. Turn 4, discard your whole hand, gain 12 life and pass.
Yeah. And let's not forget, this is also 4x Chalice in the main deck, right?
Right. So you just like try to turn that on one.
Yeah. If we go late, this is like Chalice on 1, Chalice on 2, Chalice on 3,
It'll eventually get there. Yeah,
Yeah.
you can't put Chalice on 4 because you need that to cast Chandra, but and Nahiri and Ajani. But like, you can put Chalice on like 1, 2, 3, and 5. You know, usually does an okay job at locking some modern decks out.
What's interesting about this deck as well is you don't auto lose the Jeskai control anymore either, right? Because they can't bolt you out of the game anymore. Because you just game 30 every turn. And you have no card. You have, I mean, you're 4 Wall of Omens, but like it's likely that they have more card draw than you.
Yeah.
And that's actually, it's
Look,
interesting.
as
I don't
someone
know
who
if it's
plays-
good.
As someone who's just like on Jeskai control, just like most of the time, just like that scares the crap out of me. Blood Moon's also really good against Jeskai, but like this, like there's 4 Blood Moons. We're not even going with like the hedge if I draw too many. No, like no, not 3 Blood
No,
Moons.
that's why
4
we have
Blood
peace of mind.
Moons. Right. I mean, this the
You
one thing.
discard your extra.
One
blood
thing you
ones.
can say about this deck is it's extremely clean. Like, it is focused, right?
There's
4
no-
Spirit Guide, 4 Wall, 4 Chalice, 4 Bridge, 4 Moon, 4 Peace of Mind, 4 Lightning Helix, 3 Anger of the Gods. No real way to kill a Tarmogoyf main board, but like that's okay, right? I guess you just like tap it with your Ajani or something.
I just hope they don't draw it. I mean, with decks like this, like you have to have good matchups going forward.
Sure.
Right, like it, or like you have to draw well against what you happen to be matched up with. Because like if you run against a bunch of burn, for example, you might might not be good enough. Or if you
Dude, this deck's burn matchup is probably insane though.
actually burn's probably not a great
this
example,
this
but-
burn matchup is literal
But
nuts.
for example, if you run against like Infect,
Sure.
it doesn't seem great, right? None of the cards interact terribly well with Infect. You do have 3 Angers, but
I mean, you have triple anger. Like, so the thing is once you get the bridge down against Infect, like the only thing you have to do is kill all 4 of their hierarchs, then you win the game.
yes.
And like they're not gonna have all their hierarchs. So like, plus you have 20 damage. Plus you have like Chandra minus on your hierarch. Like, okay, seems fine, right? Like there's I mean this is definitely yeah. Also, Davian points out in the chat here, Chalice on 1, pretty good.
Chosen 1 against Infect is pretty good. That's fair.
I mean,
I don't.
the thing is with this deck is, and I played against like the more typical Sun and Moon build at the 1K this weekend, is like game 2 he drew all his hate and no action, and I was playing Grixis Delver, so I just like played a Gurmag Angler on turn 2 and like attacked 4 times, and that was the game, right? Like there's no like if you draw the wrong half, right? Like if you're holding a hand of Lightning Helix and you need to play bridge. Oh, actually, that's interesting. Nahiri is sort of a 5th bridge in this deck. Theoretically, if you can go like ult Nahiri, get the bridge. You don't have it until your next turn because it comes back to your hand. But like, if you really need to tutor a bridge, Nahiri the Harbinger does do that.
You can tutor for any of these artifacts. This is kind of cute.
Yeah. I mean, tutor for Chalice. Like, Chalice comes back to your hand, then the next turn you put it on something. I mean, I'm not saying that it's something that I personally would want to ever do in Modern, but, the success is, like, you don't just get top 8 at a Classic because you got lucky, right? Like, these are like 9-round events, right?
Yeah. Yes. Well, 7 to 9 rounds.
7 to 9 rounds. Like,
Some of the standard ones I've seen as low as 5.
okay.
No, actually, I don't. 6 is the lowest I've ever seen.
Sure. All right.
But yeah, it looks like we have round 2 pairings here.
All right. So, who do we want? This is just like a good players right here.
Yeah, let's. Can we get Junji and Phil?
Phil Silverman and Junji Choi.
That's here.
Yeah.
Recent PDTQ winner Junji Choi.
Oh my gosh.
Correct.
Check out Channel Fireball's article.
Yeah.
Junji Choi recently is friends with Brian DeMars and played in SCG Columbus with a rather innovative brew and
In standard?
in standard.
Okay.
Yeah. With Metallurgic something?
No, Tesserator.
Tesserator, yes.
I'm gonna get the Channel Fireball article.
Yeah. But in the meantime, we'll throw it down to the play area.
Yeah, we'll throw down the player overlay so I can do some overlay resetting here. So, yeah. Also, we're gonna have to hop over here real quick. So since the last time, so thank you to Goober1501, Snake Doctor, Caleb _Yetman, and DJazz Jeff for the follows. We appreciate you following the stream, guys. Thank you for sticking with us through some excellent Modern on Wednesday nights. As we remove these singleton these singleton things, Guy Montauk says it looks like we're on a date ordering from the same menu. And it was adorable. I mean, look, we're ordering off the menu of the finest players in the Chicagoland area, right? Like, they're all here, Dan. Oh, man. All right, so let's get the card in. Yeah, so, okay, yeah. So Phil Silberman going to sit down on the right here as I do some overlay resetting. That's Storyteller 120 and turn 4 kill. Thank you for the follows. Also, Davian Salkovich. Yeah, you can put quotes around finest if you want. That's fine. You're not wrong. But you know, Phil and Junji are pretty good. Junji is fresh off of a PPTQ win in standard as well, but you know, doing some stuff. I'm still trying to find that Brian DeMars article. Here we go. Yeah. Okay. So this article that I'm about to throw in here. It's about standard, but this is like Junji has like literally been just brewing this deck, and you know has done reasonably well with it. He won the PPTQ with it as well. I don't know what he's playing in Modern right now though, so we're gonna put him on left deck, and we're gonna put Phil Silberman is going to be on right deck.
Yeah. No, do you have any idea what either of these players are playing?
I didn't talk to either of them when they came in tonight, so it's unclear.
Yeah. It's been a while since we had Phil on stream here.
He's been like, yeah, I don't know where he's been, but...
Yeah, last time I saw him play Modern, he was on Geist.
Whew! Oh, yeah, that was like GP Indy.
Yes.
That was like last year.
Yeah, I played him at Indy.
In the Swiss?
In Swiss, yeah.
Did you beat him?
I did. Because at the end of our 3 games, I asked him what deck he was on, and he said Geist. And I had no idea, because not once did he play the card Geist the same draft.
Oh, that's great.
So, kind of rough draws on Phil's part. Yeah,
Davian is gonna say that Junji's on Bushwhacker Zoo. I mean, I would... That's entirely plausible. I just, like, haven't seen... I've never seen him play Zoo before, but I wouldn't put... Like, he is always sort of spicing it up in Modern, so...
Well, I mean, you know, a lot of the players at the shop are friends with one another, and...
They borrow decks and stuff,
borrow decks from each other.
Mm-hmm. Gonna roll. That dice is gonna go off the table. Gonna put it back in his hand. Oh, and he's gonna roll a 1. So value not re-rolling both dice. Phil is gonna roll higher, so it looks like Phil will be on the play. And looking at hands. All right, so it does look like there's a lot of red cards, but I think that's a retreat to Coral Helm in Junji's hand.
Interesting.
And in Phil's hand, there's red cards. There's black cards.
Is that collective, or that might be a street wraith?
Oh, Phil, what have you done? Phil.
So unclear what Phil is currently on.
Yeah. Ooh, Sharpshooter 438. I wish I could be there playing Thing taking turns. Thing in the ice, near and dear to my heart. Taking turns, also really good. I enjoy that deck quite a bit, but I'm also very bad at playing it, so perhaps it would be better if there were someone here to play it, it would be you, because that deck is actually, like, super hard to play.
Yeah, I don't know. You draw a lot of cards, you take more turns.
Spoken like the Jund player who always abrupt decays that dictate.
Seems self-explanatory. But no, yeah, taking turns suffers from a problem that a lot of, like, you know, strong synergy-based decks do. And it's that, like, you can have incredibly clunky draws. It looks like Junji does have a Burning Tree Emissary, so this is going to lead to a lot of explosive starts.
Okay, so I think yes, he is on Zoo. Good call, Davian.
Alright, but that is definitely a straight wraith.
What's happening?
So
Phil gonna go to 18.
Phil either on, you know, Suicide Zoo or
Living End. Gonna go to 16. Gonna go to wow,
Wow.
Phil. I think that Junji has like really good aggressive cards though.
I think Phil is on Suicide Zoo because there's
Oh, that's not a retreat. That's the That's a Narnum Renegade.
yeah, there is the Teamer Battle Rage in Phil's hand, and a Goyf.
Junji with no turn one. So he doesn't have a critically. He didn't have a fetch land to turn on this card, Narnum Renegade. Oh wait, no, he played it. Never mind. Okay, so that's just a 1/2 Death Touch. Pretty good blocker.
Yeah, I mean,
Is this end of turn for Phil, by the way?
this is probably end of turn.
Okay.
Yeah, so it looks like Phil's running back Suicide Zoo. It did get a little bit worse because of you lost Gataxian Probe, but the core engine of the deck is still online.
Yeah. I mean, sort of.
Yeah, it doesn't look like Phil had
Oh wow, that's a Tarfire. Ooh.
So this is going to be a very big Tarmogoyf.
Assuming he has one, yeah.
Yeah, oh, he definitely has one in hand.
Okay, so yeah, the question is, and he doesn't have a second land though.
But does have a second Tarfire. So, all is not lost.
So Junji's at 18, going to 17 here for this mountain. So yeah, I mean, and Junji's gonna play a Burning Tree Emissary, and he's gonna follow it up with another Narnum Renegade. This one with a Revolt trigger, because of the fetch land.
I don't believe it actually is a trigger. It just comes.
It's not a Revolt was enabled. Phil gonna Fatal Push the Narnum Renegade and draw a card. So he draws a land.
Yes, draws the second land. Can play a Goyf.
Probably wants to play a Goyf.
Yeah, and definitely a Teamer Battle Rage in hand as well.
Okay, I mean, I'm not sure it's good, like as good on just like regular Goyf. Phil realizing the error of his ways and fetching basic Forest here.
Yeah. So this isn't so Death Shadow, the aggro deck.
Collective Brutality, pitching the Battle Rage. Ooh, okay, so this is pretty good. So he gets to strip the hand here. Wow, that's a devastating summons.
That's wow, interesting.
Junji plays a Hidden Herbalist, another card from Kaladesh. These people are, they're playing faster than I can keep up with the cards they're playing.
Yeah,
but
Hidden Herbalist kind of like another Burning Tree Emissary. Except when it's not, and it's just a Grizzly Bear.
Yup. Junji with the draw. Now this is very much in Phil's favor. That is a 5/6 Tarmogoyf we're looking at. Pretty good. Jam.
Yep, attack for 12.
Yep. Attack you down to 12. Junji gonna fetch to 11 here.
Okay. It's interesting he's fetching both. This means he turning
fetching to 10.
Yeah, he is turning off
Revolt on his turn.
yeah, like a free Revolt. It does look like he has a fair number of Revolt cards.
Yeah, I mean, I think I think the lists that I've seen running around are just the Herbalists plus the Renegades in terms of Revolt cards. Junji gonna attack for 2, put Phil to 8. And gonna play an Experiment 1 and pass. Yikes. So Phil definitely winning the race here. If he has, you said he has, he does have a Fatal Push. Ooh, that's
He has
good.
a Fatal Push and a Battle Rage in hand.
So theoretically, he just kills Junji? Yeah,
Yep.
okay. So the 5/6 Goyf is gonna get
Attack for 10. Casually 10.
casually attack for 10, and Death Shadow Zoo gonna go up 1-0.
Yeah, no, I've never actually played Burning Tree, like aggro.
Burning Tree Zoo.
Yeah, or like Bushwhacker in Modern. But something tells me that you're not supposed to draw 5 lands.
Yeah, it's probably not what you want to do.
Yeah,
he was on a Mulda 6,
Sure.
so I think he sort of had to keep.
Yeah,
creatures and
Mulda
spells.
6, I think he kept the 3-lander, and then proceeded to draw, 2-3 more lands.
Yeah.
Which I think is just, it's better than keeping a random 5.
Yeah. So, player's gonna shuffle for game 2 here. So yeah, we're seeing Phil's deck here. So that looks like a Gorklan Rampager. Liliana of the Veil.
Ooh, so this is
This is like a little bit bigger. Traverse the Ulvenwald.
Okay, so this is just Delirium deck. This is not.
But it has Death Shadow.
It does
in
have Death Shadow in it.
So it's Death Shadow Delirium, right?
So yeah, and it's interesting because we saw Phil fetch for basic force, right? So the Death Shadow aggro decks did not run basics. It ran 5 shocks.
Right.
And if Phil has a Liliana in here, presumably he also has a basic swamp.
Preferably 2, right?
Yeah, you never know. But because like one of the reasons why this deck is so powerful is like you shave on the land count.
Right. Okay, he's just gonna board in like 3 Anger the Gods and 2 Shriek Maws. Nice. Nice.
And Killer Divine, thank you for the follow.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
part of the reason with playing the Burning Tree deck is that like if you aren't far ahead by turn 2 or 3,
You're probably not winning.
You probably will not win the game.
Yeah.
And we saw like I don't know, like Junji on turn 2 put 6 power into play, which is not terrible at all. But the problem is, when the 4/3 gets fatal push and all of a sudden you have a bear staring down a Tarmogoyf.
Yeah, so
It's a little less good.
that chat knows more things about this deck than we do, which is good. So DRKCLD says that's the new Suicide deck. It's just like a Jund list playing Death Shadow.
Yep, and that makes sense.
Pretty cool.
Yeah, that's certainly
seems
what we
really
saw.
really interesting. You get a little bit more mid-rangey, right, with the lilies and stuff, but ultimately you still have the explosiveness of like play a 1-mana 6/6 and then use Battle Rage and kill you.
And I don't know if I like how it's positioned if more people are playing Fatal Push, right? Because you can't protect the Death Shadow from a Fatal Push.
I know, right? Isn't it great?
Like, you can protect it from a Bolt, but you cannot protect it from a Fatal Push.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, Phil really didn't get punished for Junji's draw there, right? Because he missed his second land drop, and depending on how aggressive Junji's deck is, if he had changed 3 Burning Trees, Bushwhacker, attack,
Yeah.
it's just like we don't even have a game.
Yeah. So Tom's SCKS just posted a link in the chat, which we reposted. But it's a link to a Channel Fireball article by Eric Froelich about this deck, apparently. So scrolling through real quick. Interesting. Huh. Amazing. So this, wow. So, oh, wow. This is this deck is crazy.
Yeah, so this is a list from the top 8 of the mocks.
Okay.
Yeah, pretty much a bigger version of, like Cha said, a bigger version of the old Suicide Zoo list.
Yeah, I mean, you just can't afford to go that low to the ground anymore, right? Like, you're not playing the 4th color, so there's no step links, right? Like, Wild the Cattle seems pretty bad if you're not, going for the Become Immense Battle Rage shenanigans.
And losing Gitaxian Probe means that you have to play more real cards.
Right.
And these cards don't cycle anymore, so that's obviously not great.
All right, so players going to look at some cards. Phil has 1 land, which I feel like is probably good enough, right? Mm-hmm. And he is on a mull. He's going to get the scry here.
Yeah, there's an Inquisition and a Pulse in hand. It looks like we're probably going to bottom a land.
Junji at 18 to play a 2/2 Nikatl.
Alright. Draws a Straight Wraith, immediately is going to cycle that, and finds a Death Shadow.
Alright, going to play an Inquisition, so he's at 16 here. Junji going to show him Hidden Herbalist, 2 cards that are glared out at the top, and 2 other lands. So, trying to figure out what the art on those is. Mm-hmm. But
based on the 3 cards we see, though, can't turn on this Hidden Herbalist.
Right. Phil is, considering he has Fatal Push in hand, he has another Inquisition. Okay, so that's a Relic of Progenitus. So he's going to take the Relic. Oh, the other card is a Gore Clan Rampager.
Okay, so couldn't take that. So it's either Relic or take the Bear.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not sure that, because the thing is, right, is what is Junji casting off of the Herbalist this turn, right?
Mm-hmm. Presumably nothing.
Mm-hmm.
He's just
Phil
going to
go
play
to
as
13. Going to get the Herbalist into play at 16.
The Gore Clan, a little less exciting when Fatal Push is so easy to leave.
Yeah,
leave
you
up.
just you just get the 2-for-1, right? Mm-hmm. There's unless Phil taps out of black, which he won't. It's like Phil here, I don't even think you Inquisition, right? He's just gonna fetch with this And he's gonna get another. He's gonna get a Blood Crypt. Okay.
Fetch Shock to 10, play 3/3 Death Shadow.
Yeah, I mean, offering the trade, force you to use the Gore Clan and then push, right? Like, fine.
Mm-hmm.
Also means the Herbalist can't attack. But yeah, Death Shadow comes down as a 3/3. Junji says fine, and now you just if you're Junji again, he draws another land, pretty land heavy draw again. And this just like doesn't, this wow. All right, we're just in there. You've got to think that Junji's worried about that fatal. Like, does he care? I mean, this so theoretically, if this Nikalo gets through, he does get to put Phil the 3. He's gonna go Gore Clan this, and Phil says, "Fine, push that. My Death Shadow lives. I'll take 3, go to 7."
Mm-hmm. So yeah, if you play this deck, if the Gore Clan isn't good there, you can't win the game.
Right.
So you just have to assume it's good. And yeah, I mean, it ended up not being, but like, you kind of have to make that play. Now Phil doesn't know what's in Junji's hand. Like, he's seen every card that has been played. So Phil's a little concerned that he will miss with this Inquisition.
Right. So he's just gonna attack for that 6, correct?
Attack for 6.
Go to 10.
And then probably just pulse this Nikata.
Pulse this Nikalo. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, now Junji does have to draw a haste threat. He'll go to 9.
Yeah. And this is a very safe play because Phil knows that Junji isn't like secretly holding something like Blossoming Defense or anything.
Absolutely.
Because that would have been played last turn. Blossoming Defense, though, would have been such a blowout last turn.
Oh, absolutely. Blossoming Defense would have been an insane draw, but I don't know if this deck plays it. Junji has Land Experiment 1, but these late Experiment ones, not really doing it, right?
Right, and this is the problem with the Burning Tree deck. It's just...
yeah, he chumps, and then he's got another he's got a Goyf here, so Junji's like in real trouble. Inquisition, target you. It's just a land. Junji's going to untap and draw. Draws a Burning Tree Emissary?
Yeah.
Probably not going to be good enough. But we'll see here. So the Goyf is, their checking graveyards, is a 5/6. So Junji probably plays the Burning Tree and just says go. Yeah, untap. So if Phil has removal here, he wins the game.
Yeah, if he doesn't, he's still in excellent
he's
shape.
still in pretty good shape.
It's just like, there's no recovery mechanic in the Burning Tree deck.
Right? play this, play Bauble. Phil is going to crack it, look at the top of his library. Draw a card on Junji's upkeep. Junji draws... and stuff. Reckless Bushwhacker! Not when he wanted it. That's going to do it. So Phil Silberman takes down Junji Choi, the Death Shadow Jundlist, getting 2 games to none against Burning Tree Zoo. I will say that the Burning Tree list looked like the draws were a little bit slow, like 5 lands both games, not exactly ideal. But, it doesn't seem like it seems like the Jund deck is just like a little bit bigger, and the size of the creatures really matters, when you're just sort of bashing them into each other. So, very interesting games from them. Junji just a little bit unfortunate with the lands, but Phil just getting there. Jeez, like that was brutal. It's 14 minutes. We've played 2 games of Magic already. We did theoretically get a backup feature match for Junji. That's our playmat. Please don't take our playmat. Nope, Junji, no! All right, I'm back. So Junji does play with a similar playmat. I've seen him with a similar copy of it. So yeah, he accidentally rolled that up into his stuff. So I had to go get that back from him. Oh man, the value right there. Just get the playmat. All right, so what do we have in terms of these games?
I believe Nick Wild is down a game. I believe he's on Esper Control.
Okay.
And I believe his opponent is on Cheerios.
Oh, no way. Yeah, there was someone who wanted to see Cheerios in the chat. What's his?
It's Lawrence Doria.
Okay.
I'm not sure how accurate that is. I definitely know that Nick Wild is on Esper Control, though.
And we're on 20... Are we both at 20?
Yeah, no, start of game 2 here.
Oh, nice. Okay, so we caught him right at the good time.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm not exactly sure what that card is in the top loader.
I don't know either. You want to go find out?
I don't. Well, it's in the top loader, right?
Right, so
isn't-
it's like not part of the game.
Yeah, this isn't Commander, so I don't really know what that card is representing or doing.
I don't either. But, okay, so if this is Cheerios versus Esper, Cheerios is super duper favored, like, I think.
Is it? Because like Esper has enough removal for a lot of the nonsense.
Sometimes. Nick is going to go turn 1, I think fetch basic Swamp. Maybe he's going to... Yeah, he's going to go to 15 here to fetch Shock Thoughtseize.
The all turn 1 Lava Axe yourself.
Yeah, but that's is fine against this deck, right? Like, you're just going to take their Pure Steel Paladin.
But
and
there's
hope
a
you-
there's
oh,
a
and a
Sermon.
Mentor.
Yeah.
But there's only one land,
Yes.
and there's no Opal. Okay, so for those of you who don't know, it is possible it's a Storm counter, K-Marchi. That's a good point. So for those of you who don't know, the Cheerios deck basically uses this guy, Pure Steel Paladin, to draw a bunch of free cards by playing zero-cost artifacts.
Or now with the printing of Aether Revolt, there's a second card that does a similar thing.
SRAM, Senior Edificer. Not an Artificer, an Edificer. Also a Dwarf Advisor, not a Dwarf Artificer. As my friend who tried to build Artificer Tribal in Standard found out last
Yeah,
night.
this seems like a pretty egregious flavor fail.
Well, so I think... So Nick takes the Mentor here. And I think he just has more trouble beating a Mentor, right? Like, you can't one-for-one a Mentor, really.
I mean, if you have removal for the Mentor, you can
Ooh,
force
wow,
him.
he immediately draws another Mentor. So Lawrence is like, this is fine.
But is it though? I think like all Lawrence wants to do is just draw land.
I mean, you're not wrong. Like, Nick's gonna play a Colonnade and pass. Oh, we gotta get these decks changed.
Yeah. So if I was Lawrence, because I have no lands in hand, I would not even fetch.
Yeah, just wait. Just increase your chances a little bit to draw.
Yeah, it's very marginal. You're increasing your chance to draw land by about 2%.
But, like, that matters.
But that matters. Especially like when you're so desperately in need of not just one land drop, you need 2.
Right? Yeah, so Lawrence is gonna untap and take a draw step. Well, he rips the plains like an animal, so that's fine.
That's fine. Okay, so next turn we can do some real damage.
Yeah. Chat. Oh, so the card that is up there is a Shelter. What? Nope, not that one. Okay, so there's a lot of cards with Shelter in their name. This card? Oh, yeah, it is this card. The art's the same. Okay. So I'm not sure what this is. So the SRAM resolves and says pass. Nick just untaps and says fine.
Interesting. So he doesn't choose to play anything into the SRAM.
Yeah, I mean, maybe he's like... So Nick is going to play Runed Halo and name something, and I would imagine he's going to name Grape Shot? Like, you 100% name Grape Shot here, right? Like, there's not... It's Grape Shot, not close.
Well, it depends on what version of this deck Lawrence is on, right? And since Nick lost game 1, he'll have a better idea than us.
Yeah, I mean, if just knowing what I know about this deck, I think I named Grape Shot for the purpose of, like, not getting stormed right now.
Yeah, so Lawrence was desperately looking for a land, did not find
To
it.
play the Mentor?
Yeah.
Yes, if he plays the Mentor, he's got some insane stuff going on with the tokens. Nick does have a... Oh, so actually, this is probably just as good, though, because he can play Pure Steel Paladin and start drawing cards. Pure Steel Paladin. Lawrence says, you know, like, get me some dice, I'm gonna storm you out.
Alright, looks like this is a storm counter.
Draw. So, yeah, he gets to draw 2 cards every time he plays an equipment.
Alright. So we're gonna... Oh, I'm just gonna double check what Rune Halo is naming.
Okay. Yeah, so, Lost Exile 28. Shelter isn't legal, but it appears that Lawrence is using it as a storm counter. Oh, wow. So there is a kill here, theoretically. And the kill is you Echoing Truth, the Runed Halo, and then you kill them with Cheerios because you have 4 Mox Opals in your deck and you draw all of them. That's the play. Yeah, Shelter. So yeah, Shelter not being modern legal is just, you know, just like, this is where I put my dice when I'm storming you out. Lawrence will play a land. I think he's gonna crack it to fetch. What's it naming?
Rune Halo is named Grape Shot.
Okay, I figure. So, but actually, Dan, this is interesting because Lawrence did draw a land off of one of his off of one of his spells, right? Mm-hmm. So off of one of his draws. So now he just needs Mox Opal, Echoing Truth that, into 2 more Mox Opals Grape Shot you.
Yeah, I don't know how much Nick has in terms of interaction. He does have a surgical in hand. That's all I saw.
Okay, I'm not sure that Surgical gets there.
He has a surgical and a supreme verdict. So if Lawrence can't win this turn,
Probably he's not winning.
he's probably not winning, right? I mean, no, actually, it's probably just fine, right? Next turn,
Yeah.
he just
Yeah, this is game 2, by the way, for everyone. So he's... But the thing is he's just, like, drawing 2 cards every time he casts a spell.
yeah, and it's more than likely that he draws.
So there's the Grape Shot.
Okay.
There's the... Is that a Retract? I don't know what that card is. Okay. No, that's just another... It's another free artifact. Yep, so 0 mana spells, draw cards,
So what we're really looking for here is an opal,
or Retract.
right? And it looks like this might be Lawrence's last card.
His last artifact, he gets to draw another one. He gets a Silence. So he can silence Nick on upkeep
Oh, no.
and try to go again next turn, but I don't know if he has any cards left. Like, I don't know if he has any artifacts left. He is going to equip his creatures so that they don't get hit by damage-based removal, but I'm not sure how much it'll matter.
Right.
I do think the Paradise Mantle possibly matters.
The pro colors.
Yeah.
Yeah, I definitely so Lawrence definitely drew.
No,
a
Paradise Mantle is Paradise Mantle's Birds of Paradise.
Yeah. Excuse me. Right. So if I was Lawrence, like I'm definitely into silence on upkeep.
Oh, absolutely. Like, not close.
But
he has another artifact.
Yeah, we're not done here. We're not done yet.
We've never been done in our lives. So he's got another SRAM and more lands, so probably not great. But silence on upkeep seems really good.
Right. It prevents any shenanigans. Lawrence must be aware of that. Like, this deck certainly has to play some number of Wrath of Gods.
Oh,
or
there's,
Supreme
there's,
Verdicts.
there's no doubt. Like,
And he's holding
Swan Song?
Swan Song, so like Wrath of God's not good.
But Nick has
Supreme,
Verdict, so you just have to silence him on his upkeep.
Yep, and if Nick tries to counter it, that means like he
can't Wrath.
He can't Wrath, right? So Lawrence just kind of has to decide on how much of his hand he wants to discard if he's done here.
I think he's just going to keep putting stuff on his guys. You know, it's like...
No reason not to. Mm-hmm. I would actually prefer to put all of these guys on SRAM, get a hidden,
Yeah.
and then readjust them. Because
Okay.
he can attack for a good amount.
Yeah, Nick's going to go to 14 here.
It looks like Lawrence chose not to even attack.
Yeah.
Which I think might be a bit of a misstep.
Right.
Especially since Nick didn't have Blessed Lines up or
Yeah,
anything.
this is a non-determinate storm deck, so he doesn't automatically just get to kill you.
Right, and this with all the bone saws and stuff, this is not an insignificant hit, right? We're getting in for some amount of damage.
Yeah. He can dig for Echoing Truth, or he might be playing Bitter Ordeal. Bitter Ordeal. Oh, whoa. Oh, wow. Oh, I didn't even know this card existed.
Yeah, the only card with Gravestorm. It's quite cute.
For each permanent put into a graveyard this turn, though. So how does he put his permanents in the graveyard?
No idea.
Okay. Maybe you... Yeah. Okay, so Nick is going to untap and draw. Lawrence, I think, is still figuring out what to discard, though. See, the thing is like, that was a very reasonable, like, Lawrence almost had the kill there.
Yes, I think he's just a little bit constrained on mana here.
Also, like, he didn't have any more artifacts.
Yes. But the crucial thing here is if we're going to opt
Silence on upkeep. I like it so much.
if he
doesn't and he gets Wrathed.
He doesn't get wrecked here, right? It's still fine because he has more.
Oh no, I don't know if he knows about the verdict. Like he's holding up Swan Song,
which is just not good enough. Like
Wild though is gonna play a Surgical Extraction. Take 2 life, go to 12.
Okay, so now Lawrence needs to think about whether or not he wants to fight over this,
or just like play Silence in response, right?
Yeah.
He's gonna make a mana and Swan Song. So he taps the SRAM, which was Paradise Mantled, and he brought his tokens for his opponents. What a nice dude!
Yeah.
What a cool guy. Nick is gonna play a Think Twice, so he doesn't have the 4th land.
Okay, does not have the 4th land, so Lawrence is going to be able to untap with protection.
Yep.
Actually, I forgot about the Paradise Mantle. I like Lawrence's not attack here.
Right. Like the Paradise Mantle giving you the extra mana to hold up 2 protection spells potentially.
Yes.
Wild on 1 mana up. Lawrence draws another Silence though, and I think he's out of stuff. So, and I don't like him discarding all of his lands. I think that I think being able to play land and then Mentor, and then Swan Song something, and then using the Paradise Mantle silence on Nick's upkeep to make more monks seems really, really good.
So he still has Mentor here?
Yeah.
And can just...
This is an attack? Or is it a spell? Yeah, no, this is a spell. Defense Grid. Ooh. Okay. I think he's going to attack with the Paladin here. Yep, he turns the Paladin sideways. This is for 3 damage only. Thanks to Agent 00J for the follow. Yeah, so Nick's going to go to 9. So Nick getting pretty well beaten down here, but Nick does untap with Verdict.
Yeah, so I mean...
I like firing off the Silence this turn. I really like it. Yeah, here he's going to do it.
You're right. I think...
Bam! Silence you.
So if we were going to go for the Silence play... I'm a little bit confused why we didn't play Mentor.
Yeah, no,
Because
I completely agree.
Because all of a sudden, now we're going to get a lot of damage.
Nick is going to Cryptic and bounce the Defense Grid. I like drawing here. With simply put, I like drawing cards with the Cryptic.
Oh, well, it's probably bounce the Defense Grid, draw a card.
Ooh, Swan Song. Oh, you're right. Okay.
Yeah, there's...
Nick gets another bird.
If you counter it, it doesn't matter. You're already
Yeah,
tapped
true.
out, right? So...
All right. Wait, how did he draw that card?
He was
draw
silence
stuff.
upkeep. Yeah, this was draw
Okay.
stuff.
Another Paradise Mantle is the draw here, so we could potentially turn this back on. Oh, no. Go, fix this. He did not pay for all the silence. He had enough mana? I don't know if he had enough mana, but he can't cast Silence. Defense Grid is symmetric. Okay, so Dan is going to fix that. Tailrick, thank you so much in the chat. Completely forgot. Oh man, this is not great, but trigger make a monk. So like theoretically this game is, oh no, it's not over. It's not over at all. Oh, because now he can't cast Silence on Nick's upkeep. Now, unless he has like more lands in play. Yeah, the 2 spell. No, he casts Swan Song too. Oh, this is a huge thing. Oh my god. Silence and Swan Song. Only one of those spells should have happened. And now Nick is going to untap in Wrath. Oh man, we are talking to the judge. All right, so... Yeah, so the judge is there now. I'd like to thank chat for being, like, on top of this and actually knowing how Defense Grid works, but they're going to have an animated discussion about this.
Yeah, so Sherwin is the local judge here. It's an L2, and we'll, based on what they do here, we'll see how it gets rolled. I'm not exactly sure if enough time has passed where, we can't back this up.
It's a long backup, though. It's 4 mana, too. Like, both of those spells that Lawrence cast. This is, like, the Defense Grid can be good, but can also really screw you. Here's the thing, though, right? Is like, if we go to Nick's turn, Lawrence can't cast Silence from where he is now.
Right.
He only has 2 mana up, potentially. Okay, so we are backing way up.
Yeah, so playing the Defense Grid, in fact...
is going to cost him.
Yeah, it's quite the non-bow with Silence.
Yeah. Looks like we are going to get a rewind, though.
Okay, yeah. So Silence and Defense Grid kind of double up in what they're trying to do, right? They prevent interaction on your turn. But the thing is, like, Silence has, the additional ability of, like, hey, I can like, fog someone's turn, effectively.
Right.
And if you play Defense Grid and that, all of a sudden, that no longer is happening.
Okay. So it looks like everything is going back into the hands here.
Yeah, and it looks like the Mentor was played this turn as well,
Yep.
So that's not happening. So there's just a lot of
Paradise
information
Mantle,
revealed.
too. Those artifact, the Paradise Mantle needs to come up. Because those artifacts were not in play.
Okay. Well, let's see if we can assist with this backup.
Yeah.
a little bit.
Nick gets the Flooded Strand. The Paradise Mantle. Yeah. This is, so it's a little bit of a mess. Defense Grid, perhaps players aren't, maybe Lawrence wasn't as familiar that it is symmetric. It's one of the reasons why it's so good in Vintage, by the way. But, like, it is something that is forgettable. Like, I'm not gonna I'm not gonna say like no one is, like I don't think that. I think that defense grid is a very forgettable effect just because of how natural it is to be like playing Silence and Swan Song and stuff. Jason L, can you guys get Sherwin on the mic to explain his backup? Maybe. And I'm gonna say maybe because I don't know if he is. Okay, so Nick is gonna cast Verdict here and kill everything. So my so yeah, I'm gonna say maybe to that just because I don't know if that's something that Sherwin would do.
What's up?
The chat wants Sherwin to tell them about this backup.
What happened in the backup that? Oh, can Sherwin
Explain the backup.
Sure. We'll see if we can get him in between rounds here. My understanding of what happened back there was that the backup was just back up to the point of the first infraction, which would have been the Silence, right?
Right.
So everything that got backed up was from this point. Lawrence cast Silence, Nick cast Cryptic Command,
Lauren cast Swan Song.
Lawrence cast Swan Song, Nick drew a card, played a land. Lawrence drew a card for a turn, played Monastery Mentor.
And an equipment.
It played Paradise Mantle, drew 2 cards. So all of that was backed up, which is a lot.
Get the Swan. The Swan is dead. SRAM gonna hit the battlefield here. Trigger, draw a card off of this Sigil of Strength. Yep, we're getting the bird. Finds Mox Opal, pretty good. No draw from the Opal, but the Paradise Mantle will trigger. And yep, goodbye, bird. Yeah, Nick realizing that is goodbye. So now again though, Lawrence's turn. Not sure what he can do. He's gonna equip the SRAM. Equip the SRAM. So like.
Back in the booth here.
Yeah.
All right. Looks like we got the
Bird is down.
birds down. So a lot of nonsense here. Really could draw a retract here anytime.
I mean, if he draws a retract, I think the game is over, right?
Yeah, I think if you draw a retract, you're gonna be able to draw enough cards where you could probably, actually not even probably, you would almost certainly be able to draw enough cards where you would hit your Echoing Truth, get the Rune Halo, and then just Grape Shot for lethal.
Yeah. So Nick is going to
Flashback to think twice.
draw a card, and I don't see what he drew.
I think he drew the 3rd Cryptic Command.
Oh, wow. Okay. So Wild on a hand of Mono Cryptics here?
So, because Wild is on the Esper version and not the Jeskai version,
Yeah.
it means that he doesn't have the out of Counterflux.
Oh.
Counterflux, one of the ways you can really answer.
Snap Surgical, though.
Okay.
So I'm not sure. I think he might be targeting Pure Steel?
So there's a bunch of land in the graveyard. Pure Steel, SRAM, Swan Songs. If he hits a Swan Song that he knows he will hit.
I think he's going to take the Pure Steels. I think he should take the Pure Steels.
Yeah.
Because that way...
Or he could take the Mentors.
Oh, the Mentors is really good, actually. Yeah, so sees the hand, gets to exile a Mentor, gets a deck offered to him. So now, yeah, so this is actually quite good for Nick because now he's on very few.
Very few, like, just insta win cons.
Right? That's the retract, though. That's the win con right there.
So, I think there, like, when we went through, there's only 1 retract in this deck?
I didn't see... Ooh, I actually don't know.
Yeah, like, that seems very low.
There should be. I think there's... Most lists have 4. I think it's possible that we just didn't see because Wild was shuffling through quickly. So...
Because there was definitely a couple more Swan Songs. It looks like, because this is game 2, looks like Lawrence might have sideboarded out a couple of them.
Yeah. So... Yeah, and so now Lawrence going to shuffle his deck after the Surgical. Wild's going to cut, and I think Wild's just going to pass the turn.
And for those of us that are joining us, there is below all of that pile of equipment, there is a SRAM fueling all of this.
No, the SRAM's on the left here.
Oh.
There's SRAM's above it.
Oh,
There's
no,
nothing
my
on the
mistake.
bottom of their pile.
So then we're just drawing to the singleton retract then, or like maybe there's 2.
I don't know. I mean, I think maybe you just like equip the SRAM with some stuff and like try to go to town and just like kill Wild because he's at 8. Like, you can put a bone saw on it.
That's true. You have a defense grid out and back of Swan Song, so
Not a lot that Nick can do.
yeah,
on
Nick's
your
not
turn.
really doing a lot on your turn.
Yeah.
Nick can also start getting to the point where he's cryptic to bounce the SRAM.
Right.
Just to constrain your mana a little bit.
Just to make him pay 2 every turn for it. Mm-hmm. The thing is that Nick is at 8.
Yeah.
So like that's not an unreal number.
Yeah.
Like just draw the retract and then it's like, oh goodness. Like then you're just drawing your whole deck, right?
yeah. But,
Draws another SRAM here. So this is one of the things with SRAM is because it is legendary. You can't with like multiple paladins. Obviously, you go insane, but multiple SRAMs not as good. Obviously,
Right. I think this Lawrence is actually suffering from something that we see a lot. Well, we sometimes see. Occasionally, you over sideboard, and all of a sudden
Your deck doesn't do what you want
Your
it to
deck
do.
doesn't function. So, yeah, just of the sideboard cards we've seen, right? At least 2 silences, 2
The
swan
silence-
signs.
Yeah. Are the silences main chat?
Oh no, 3 silences.
This is an attack with the SRAM, and Nick's just gonna be like block with the Snapcaster, right? Mm-hmm. Like, yep, block. Give that the bliggity block. I mean, he has another SRAM in his hand,
Right.
so he's just gonna play it again.
But I mean, like, there's so much equipment, right?
Yeah.
That he may as well just like let that one live. Because
Right.
now, like this, Nick's getting close to the point where he can pay for defense grid, and that's not
Yeah,
like
that's
not
not unreasonable.
insignificant.
But no, he's gonna play the second SRAM here.
So long as we have a 4th land.
He's got plenty of lands.
Oh yeah, this
He's got an
we got
opal.
more than enough lands.
You got lots of mana. Yeah, so if you're wow, so I just actually for the first time in a little bit looked over at the viewer numbers. We're at 168, which is one of the highest totals we've had since we restarted the stream in September. So thank you for tuning in to Wednesday Night Modern at MTGCardmarket, people.
Yeah.
We also picked up a couple of follows. Thank you to Diego Pellicer and Big Hoss Lagas. I hope I'm pronouncing your name right. Wild is going to cast.
Secure for 5.
Is this on Lawrence's turn?
Nope, this is main phase.
Okay, that's good. So, playing around the defense grid, but yeah, Secure the Waste, very powerful card. I mean, Lawrence, actually, because equips don't cost 0 because of Paladin, I don't know if he can actually attack with the SRAM into this.
Right. So this has bought Nick probably a ton of time.
Like, a ton.
Yeah, because like
and Lawrence also fetched, so he's going to go 15.
yeah.
Thank
Because
you to the
it
players for
is
having
important to remember, like all of these artifacts, like, very few of them actually give power.
Yeah.
Right? There's a lot of, the SRAM's going to have a very big butt if he equips everything onto it.
It
But-
costs mana to equip these
Oh,
stuff.
sure. I'm assuming like
Like,
we
it
have a
costs
Pierce
like
there.
3 mana to equip each of these things. Like, they don't come... You play them for free, but the rest ain't cheap. 1 mana.
Mm-hmm.
Float mana with the opal. Oh, I got it. Okay, so he's gonna go grape shot a bunch of your tokens.
Sure. What turn are we? Oh.
We're on Lawrence's turn. He's gonna 1
No,
mana.
I think we're still on Nick's turn here.
No, we're back to Lawrence. He drew a card. He
Oh,
fetched
okay.
end of turn and drew a card. Grape shot. Swan song it. Make a bird. Oh.
Okay, this is a 4-turn clock.
Oh.
I'm not excited about this 4-turn clock, but it is a 4-turn clock.
Wow. Yeah.
So one thing
Put the
that
bone saw on the bird. Bone saw online. Vroom, 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 vroom. Oh my goodness. Nick draws another Ruined Halo. Please put that on bird token. Okay, no. Cryptic, just bounce your bird.
so if Lawrence,
Goodbye.
so if Lawrence was going to go for this play, I think what I would like to prefer to see is Mox Opal, tap for mana, play the second
Ooh,
Opal.
fatal push.
Yeah.
Zorch. Get your dude out of there. Swing at you for 5. Nick Wild here.
On the
Going on the,
beatdown.
also, Nick Wild is down a game. This match record is wrong. It's 1-0 Lawrence's favor. Going on the beatdown plan here.
Yeah, and then now Lawrence's hand is just he's going to scoop it up.
Oh.
Yeah, he just drew more sideboards though. I think he definitely over sideboarded it.
Yeah.
Because we saw like
Zas, I don't think he did.
Yeah. There was no Storm count. Storm was 1 with Grape Shot.
Right?
Yeah. So yeah, if he had tapped Opal, played another Opal, then played Grape Shot, he could have Grape Shot for 2, and then Swan Song one of the copies.
And shot the token with another
Shot a
one.
token with it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because I mean the Opal wasn't doing much.
Yeah, I think he's. I don't know. I just like agree with you that like the retract should still be in there.
Yeah.
Like
so,
you need the retracts to go off. I don't know if I would ever sideboard the retracts out. But then again, I also don't know anything about playing this deck.
well, so let's look at just the sideboard cards we saw, right?
Defense grid.
We saw 2 defense grids at least, and I think there was a third in the deck.
Yeah.
So drew 2 Swan Songs, and there was there was definitely a third and possibly a fourth in the deck as well. Draw 2 silences. Like this is like none of these cards do anything for your deck, right? They give you protection, but all of a sudden like you're not hitting the critical mass you need for the artifacts. All of a sudden like if you're boarding out retracts, I mean I only saw 1 retract in there. Maybe there was 2, but that's still an incredibly low number, right?
Yeah.
Especially if you're trying to just like combo kill.
Right. So
and
Ruined Halo, by the way, chat does protect you from tokens. You just name the token. You just name bird,
yes,
and a
you can
token
name
with
anything.
type bird gets named.
Interesting interaction with that. If you name Worm, you get both halves of the Worm Coil token.
This is true.
Yeah.
This is true.
All right, so it looks like we're gonna quickly get into game 3 here.
Yeah. Yeah, so Dan gonna hop out of the booth for just a second. Gonna go to game 3, and this again, so you see, we'll see if Lawrence is looking for something more explosive here. Oh, you must choose the. Oh wow, interesting. So you guys are right. Actually, there's no card named Bird. Oh, okay. Well, dang. All right, so. Lawrence has a turn 2 and a turn 3 pure steel, and Nick doesn't look like he's got a lot in hand. So, yep, Storm count 1 on this pure steel. Play a sigil of. What is that card? The sigil of something? It's. No, that's a Cathar Shield. Never mind.
Okay. So we're gonna get the draw trigger, but
no. So the Pure Steel Paladin is an ETB, not a cast. So in response to the Cathar Shield,
the second one.
the second one will get the trigger. Yeah.
Yeah, we're only drawing 1 card a turn here, but
He just drew the retract though.
yeah. All right, so this.
Keep going. Never stop.
Do we have enough to keep going?
He's got 2 more artifacts and an opal. Dude,
Okay.
he is going off.
Yeah.
He's just drawn another artifact too.
Yeah, that drew a bone saw. Okay.
Oh man, Wild just could be dead here on turn 3. This Cheerios deck, bring your lightning bolts, kids. This is insane.
Yeah. If Lawrence had the second pure seal, right, this is not remotely close, right? Because if every one of these things said draw 2, like
Play your last artifacts and then retract and then draw like 8 more cards here. Because then you just have to get to 20 in Grape Shot, right?
yeah.
And he has multiple opals, so the mana's never going to be a problem.
He's gonna float red. Huh. I think I would have just floated blue and just played it for the retract.
He's going to sack.
Okay. So this is going to draw him a card though.
No, the Mox opal's not an equipment.
Oh, excuse me, yes.
So, going to float a blue. Also, Nick is at 18 from stuff.
Has a third opal.
Has a third opal into retract to draw 7 more cards.
Okay.
Or 6 more cards.
Now we're just digging for Grape Shot. And about a third of this deck.
Use the blue floating.
Yeah, a third of this deck are redraws. So we're really, if we only have a single pure seal, we're looking at, 10 cards draw, 10
Right.
additional cards to find.
Oh, he's got another pure still. Ooh, if he had floated. Yeah, so this is. Okay, so this game I think is probably over, right? No, so just like. No. Play the second pure still or play the SRAM you just drew, right? He has to.
I think you played a SRAM, right?
Yeah,
The
you don't
pure
try to go off on one. You just get the 2.
The pure still is a heavy concession.
Oh, he's got the third artifact now. That's the important part.
Yes. Well, he did play an extra artifact though, right?
He's gonna play the SRAM now.
Yeah.
Or the other pure still. Okay. Yeah. So. Yeah, so Wild just completely tapped out, unable to really do anything. So, oh wait, maybe he floated the wrong color of mana. I think he said float, not white, because Pure Steel is double white. So he'll tap this and the Opal. Yeah. This is kind of crazy, but he's gonna go. Okay, so he does just have the Pure Steel.
Yeah.
Nick points at double white again. Lawrence picks the card back up. Up to 2 red again. Just play he has a SRAM, right? I mean, just play the SRAM.
I think Lawrence might have floated the wrong colored mana.
He can play the SRAM though. He just taps his land.
Yeah.
Yeah. Nick getting a little close to the camera and defocusing it there. Oh, there we go. Okay. So
also, because it is a mana ability, you can always. Well, it looks like they might be getting a judge involved here.
Right. So I mean, but like, why not just play the SRAM?
Yeah. Worst case scenario, you can play the SRAM.
Yeah. I mean, I don't see why that's different necessarily. Like, you're still getting triggers, right?
Right. So like, looking at it, right, like, having a SRAM in play is very important because you can draw off of the Opal.
SRAM doesn't draw off Opal either. It's aura, equipment, or vehicle.
Oh, excuse me. You're completely right. But, you know, SRAM is easier to cast here, right? So, like, worst case scenario, Lawrence gets to cast this SRAM, and functionally...
Yeah, he's going to play the SRAM now.
Yeah.
Oh, no, he's going to play the other Pure Steel. He did it.
Okay, sure.
Draw 2 cards. So this game, if he finds Grape Shot at any point, I think the game is over, right?
Yeah.
We're just, you know, looking for that big old red card to come off the top.
Having only one draw effect means that you can miss. Having 2 means that it's pretty difficult to whiff.
Yeah, I'm not.
Yeah.
I think we're like. Oh, there it is.
Yeah,
Okay.
there's the Grape Shot. Is our Storm count high enough?
It's high enough. I think they took that off. Yeah, he's
Yeah.
gonna do it. Lawrence Duria is gonna get this game over Nick Wild on Drago Esper with the
turn 3 kill.
Yep, casual.
Yeah. No, excuse me. I for some reason I thought Mox Opal drew a card, but
That'd be insane.
Yes. It regardless of what is on the field, SRAM or Pure Steel will not draw you a card from Mox Opal. But I mean, I think the crux of this was that Nick was not able to answer both Pure Steels in play.
Right.
The first one, you know, was a draw 7, and then during that draw 7, managed to play second one. And all of a sudden, that's just unwinnable.
Yeah. The other thing is why he might have been trying to play the second Pure Steel, and this is like very edge casey. But if you look at SRAM Senior Artificer, not Artificer, whenever you cast an art, like that is a mandatory effect. That's non-optional, right? If you look at Pure Steel is a May. So, like, theoretically, you can deck yourself with a SRAM, but you can't with a Pure Steel.
Correct. We have to be getting very low in our library for that to happen. But not an insignificant consideration, right?
I mean, the thing is like, if you will eventually draw the Grape Shot, like, I'm not sure I'm super worried about it, but...
But it is awkward, though, because, like, you know, if Grape Shot is... you know, the bottom card of your library.
Well, then you just don't draw with the Pure Steel, you just draw one at the time of the
SRAM.
SRAM.
Right.
Yeah, so, like, I'm not sure that it matters that much, but, like, it is, you know, mandatory versus non-mandatory. Like, you want to be able to refuse to draw anything. Also, it gets around your opponent having an effect that forces you to draw a card. You know, I don't think Nick is going to be, especially on turn 2, is not going to be, like, a Blue Sun Zenithing you for anything reasonable. But, like, theoretically, if your opponent had a way to force you to draw a card, you could lose the game.
I mean, I've certainly seen people, you know, Ancestral comes off of suspend and is like, well, the Dredge player has 2 cards in their library, so I guess you draw 3. I mean, I have certainly seen that play being made.
Yeah. Regarding the Shelter Storm counter, like, I'm not sure I get it either, but I think it's just like, that's just like what he uses, right? Like, we've seen other Storm tokens before. It's like a non-modern legal card, so there's no confusion with the battlefield. You know, maybe he just likes the art. Maybe it's what he had in a top loader. But this is like, this deck has, you know, sort of, with the SRAM, we've been seeing it more and more. I mean, I don't think it's like, you know, as someone who plays like minimum 4 Path, 4 Lightning Bolt in basically every deck, I'm not sure that I'm super duper afraid of it. But like, Nick had He did have push, but he needed push +1.
Yeah, which is a lot to ask on turn 2, right?
Oh, you're not wrong, because
Yeah.
if you go turn 1 tap Colonnade, especially when Lawrence is on the play,
Yes.
like you go land, and then if you go tap land like Nick did with the Colonnade, like, and I think you have to most of the time, but if you go tap land and they just play Pure Steel, then you have to untap, kill that, but then they can play another Pure Steel and just do a Lawrence Steel.
Right, well, the problem really is that Pure Steel and SRAM both only cost 2.
Right.
So if you ever tap out, I mean, it's not much of a cost to just play 1 or 2 from hand and just go.
Yeah.
Right.
And as we'll throw it back up to the booth for a second here, this round is coming to a close, but we will, I mean, I think that was one of the last matches. Like, those games took a while,
Yep.
so our timer ran out. So theoretically, we should be getting pairings for round 3 pretty soon. But, yeah, it's just like a very, it's like a, it's one of those, it's the same thing as Blue Red Storm, right? Like, it's like a little bit more interactive, but it's way easier to just, like, go off.
Right.
With Blue Red, you have to have the Pyromancer's Ascension, you have to have the Electromancer, right? With this, it's just like, oh, I don't know.
Well, the thing with Blue Red is only some of your cards drew cards, right? You had to have rituals. You had to have the mana fix. You had the Manamorphose to turn into blue. You really needed a discount or a doubling effect, right? If you didn't have an active Ascendance, Pyromancer's Ascension, or you didn't have one of a Goblin Electromancer, it was very difficult to go off. But here, it's just because the cost is so low. If your hand is, you can just wait. If your hand ends up being like Pure Steel SRAM and then like 2 artifacts, that's enough.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah, on turn 4, you play both, and that's draw 4 cards. Those
Right.
4 cards,
Draw
it's
you
free
more
storm,
cards.
right?
Yeah.
And the opals will eventually get you to your your red and mana for
Yeah, well,
Grape Shot.
that's a thing. That's one of the things with the opal that is kind of insane, right? Is like you can keep if you draw multiple opals, right? It doesn't matter that you've used your land drop and you're tapped out because you will draw. Like if you draw like 1 opal and you retract with it, then you draw the next 2 opals and you Grape Shot them. Like,
Well, it's even better. It's better than just than even like Simeon Spirit Guide in this deck, right? It's functionally they're playing it the same, but you can retract this, so you're getting multiple uses out of a Lotus Petal.
yeah. Oh, that's the other part. Is it is just Lotus Petal that you can bounce.
Yeah, and this was certainly a fringe deck before Aether Revolt, right? It's much looser when you only have the 4 Pure Steels.
Well, when you only had the 4 Pure Steel Paladins, this deck was a fun glass cannon. Incidentally, thanks to Teddy Jr. 11 for the follow. But like, yeah, this deck was like, you had the Pure Steel, and like sometimes it was insane, right? But like having 2 Pure Steels was super low probability. Now Pure Steel SRAM, like I think it's real. I mean, I think that obviously it like Lightning Bolt is really good against it. But if you go a turn, they'll make their creatures immune to damage-based removal because they'll use the Pure Steel to make them like 2/12s.
just enormous toughness, yeah.
Right.
And post board, you also have the alternative win condition of just Monastery Mentors, right? Like all of a sudden, like
Oh, Monastery Mentor is crazy in this deck, right?
yeah,
Like, wow.
you can build like an insurmountable advantage. It's like here's like 5 tokens. If you untap and I play like anything,
You're dead because
Yeah.
I play 2 things. That's 15 damage suddenly.
Right.
And the thing is, right, is like there are not as many decks in Modern playing main board sweepers. There's not as many decks play some decks will play main board Anger, but like we're not in the days of like Tron playing 4 main deck Pyroclasm anymore.
Sleeper 37 and JMac 21. Thank you so much for the follows. Yeah, no, you're absolutely correct. Ultimately, I think the issue with this deck is that it's in the group of decks that have a very powerful combo kill, have a very powerful synergy, but have no card selection, and you need exactly a certain combination of cards.
Right, yeah, you don't. This deck doesn't play Serum Visions, right? You can't have Faithless Looting.
Right, you have no card selection at all. You just have to hope that your opening 7 has the mana to cast this, because you're also, let's not forget, you're very mana light. Like you run very few lands in this deck, so you have to hope that you have enough lands to like have a functional hand, and then you have one of your 8 pieces, which is not guaranteed, right? Like you can certainly draw a ton of hands where it's just like I can play
Right.
7 cards in turn 1, but none
look,
of them do anything.
You can clearly do it enough that it's worth to play at a tournament like this. I mean, we saw actually recently Zach Elsick, who is like not like the Lantern Control guy, but like really sort of brought it to prominence. Like took it to the top of the GP. circuit for the first time.
Mm-hmm.
He played a Cheerios list at like an IQ and was like first place after the Swiss. Like wound up losing in the quarterfinals of the top 8 to Jund, which is like pretty bad because they just like abrupt decay and kill all your stuff. But you know, this is not just a rogue brew anymore. Like this is like a deck that like you could theoretically just play against anyone now.
Sure. Yeah. It's just, you know, like if you play this deck, you have to accept that, you know, you will lose some matches simply because, you know, you didn't draw the pieces, and that's just, you know, you just have to accept that. And if you're okay with that, you know, that's perfectly fine.
I mean, Tailrick. So Farfstone, who I guess is a streamer, right? He's multiple 5-0s in leagues and stuff like.
It's powerful.
Like this is now a deck where you're gonna sit down and someone's gonna play Pure Steel Paladin and you're like, oh, I'm like, because it used to be like that deck was so fringy that like
it was too inconsistent. It was still as powerful,
yeah.
right? Like Pure Steel is still very powerful.
I mean, it's still a draw card when you cast free spells, but
yeah, but if you only see it half as often, all of a sudden it's like,
yeah.
But absolutely. I'm gonna step outside real quick and
just check
see
real quick.
what the status on the round is. We should be firing very soon here.
Yeah. I am going to do some overlay resetting. But yeah, so this deck seems pretty crazy, guys. I don't really, you know, can't say I'm like in the market to play it myself, but I mean, it'll probably do really well at a GP at some point in the near future. Yeah, like I really like. I mean, I think that like the way to beat this deck is like I think Jund has an okay shot if you draw like reasonable amounts of removal. Again, like they don't interact super, like they can discard your stuff, all that. So, you know, it's not hopeless. Oh, also we've got pairings for the next round.
We do have pairings.
That's exciting. Sure.
Okay.
All right, Dan is gonna hop out of the booth here. Gonna grab us some stuff for the next round. Yeah. So one of the nice things is that one of the nice things about this is that about these long rounds is that we just get to go boom, 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 round after round, and hopefully nobody runs away with my stream playmat again. That was seriously like. I was just like, no, please come back. For those of you who weren't here, basically one of the players rolled up the stream, like the playmat, because it was identical to the one that he uses, and I had to go charging out of the booth to retrieve it. Yeah. So, yeah. Yeah, so Jund, Abzan, and Burn are the worst matchups. So I actually don't know how this deck beats Eidolon of the Great Revel. I feel like that card, like if they just play it on 2, you're either immediately echoing truthing it, or you just lose, question mark? Like, or like you go artifact, grape shot, and then try to go off. Yeah, so, right. Yeah, Eidolon of the Great Revel seems excellent against this deck. I mean, like it is against all Storm decks, though, right? Like, if you play Storm, you accept willingly that Eidolon of the Great Revel is going to mess you up in, like, a very real way. Yeah. Yeah, so... Yeah, I mean, Dan is out of the booth doing stuff. I'm just tinkering around with the overlays here so we can transition more smoothly into the next round. Aqueous, Eidolon of Rhetoric, pretty good at Dance at 2. 100% agree. Not casting more than one spell a turn makes it hard for Storm decks to win. You also, like, can't Grape Shot that one because it's a 1/4. So, yeah, hard life. Spirit of the Labyrinth, also good. Like, all these cards are good. Yeah, alright, cool. Dan's back. We got our match. I'm going to throw it down to